Salute, salute. Shout out to everybody in the building, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Yeah, man. Another episode of Everything News, man. We most definitely in the building. Good morning to everybody out there, man. Um, I hope everybody is having a blessed morning, guys. We got some latest going on with Trump, as well as going on with the Tyler Robinson situation. Though he's the one that's accused of taking out Charlie Kirk. We also got uh, lawmakers in Michigan basically reacting to everything going on there. Hold on, I'm trying to find it over here on my iPad, man. Make sure you double tapping that screen. Most definitely get those likes all the way up, if you don't mind, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Can y'all hear me out there? Let me know if y'all can hear me out there, man. Type something in the chat to let me know that we are live, man. I see 10 people in here somewhere. I don't know where yet, but I see 10 people in here somewhere. Somebody type me something to let me know that I am live and y'all can hear me, guys. Let me know. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to IGT. I see you. I see you. I see you. Okay, I bet you can hear me good. And you can see me good, man. You know what I'm saying? We most definitely in here, guys. We got yeah, audio is good. Okay, all right, bet. Yeah, we most definitely got updates, guys. Now some people were reporting that the Michigan shooter, Mr. Stanford, had a problem with black people allegedly. Well, it has came out from the FBI that basically that may not be a fact. It's saying that he had problems with people allegedly of the Mormon faith, guys. Yeah, let's go ahead and kick this off, man, as we prepare to get some updates on some other situations out there that we got going on. Hold on, let me pull this up, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all double tapping that screen. Most definitely get those likes up. We are most definitely live over here on Everything News, guys. Check. This is what's going on. We also got more updates coming from the Michigan situation as far as the lawmakers, and then they got the lawmakers that gave basically an interview, and they got a live press conference set to go on about the Michigan situation as well. And we also got Trump in the meeting with Naga, whatever his name is. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be meeting at the White House. Hold on, let's get this up about Michigan, guys. Yeah, this is what's going on with the Michigan situation. Hold up, let me make it big. Y'all know I gotta make it bigger. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Shout out to each and every one of y'all. But wasn't the church predominantly white people? I think so. You know what I'm saying? It was a Mormon church, so I'm willing to bet so, IGT, that it was predominantly white people. But hey, man, it's always something. Let's jump into this first.
After a gunman rammed his car into a packed church in Michigan, shooting at the worshipers and then setting the building on fire.
So at least 4 are dead in the attack, and law enforcement feared that the death toll could grow.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joins us now to react from the White House. Caroline, we all watched this in horror yesterday. Is there anything that you've been briefed with that could move this story forward to find out what the motive might have been?
Well, first of all, I want to express our sincere condolences to the victims and their families and all of the members of this church who were gathering on a Sunday in the United States of America to worship Jesus Christ. And a crazed gunman rammed his truck into the church and started firing at these innocent Americans. And our hearts break. The president was very quick to put out a statement completely condemning this and assuring the American people that the FBI is on the scene. And I spoke with our FBI director, Kash Patel, bright and early this morning. He assured me and the American public that the FBI is currently executing multiple search warrants at the residences and the family homes of this perpetrator to try to get to the bottom of why he would commit such an act of evil. And the FBI is working with both state and local law enforcement, providing the full support of the federal government. And I just want to commend state and local law enforcement for their swift and incredible response. Local police officers were on the ground of this scene within minutes and neutralized neutralized this shooter, no doubt saving lives. And they should be commended. Our police officers are heroes, and this president will always respect them and support them.
They definitely were. They were there in 32 seconds, Caroline. What did the FBI director tell you about the shooter? What do we know?
What we know at this point in time is that he was a member of this Michigan community, that he is a veteran of our United States Armed Forces. He served in the United States Marine Corps in Iraq.
Ain't that something, y'all? You know what I'm saying? As they put up pictures of this alleged shooter, well, not even alleged, of the shooter, guys, it is most definitely sad, guys. Now, it says that he may have targeted people of Mormon faith, guys. It says FBI believes Michigan church shooter hated people of Mormon faith, guys. That's what Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, is saying about this, guys. Breaking news.
His family is cooperating with the FBI, and so they are currently trying to dig in and get to the bottom of why he committed this heinous act of violence. It's unfathomable. And as the president rightfully put in his Truth Social yesterday, this appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians. And the Trump administration is fully committed to not only investigating these crimes, but prosecuting them to the fullest extent of the law, but also working very hard to prevent them, to see if there's red flags. The FBI is going to treat those as public safety emergencies and investigate them to try to prevent such violence from taking place in our country.
You know, Caroline, we had the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We had the attempted assassination on ICE officers in my hometown of Dallas. And you just obviously just referred to the church. Did this suspect leave any indication that he was trying to target people of faith, more than the obvious of him doing it to a church on a Sunday?
Well, from what I understand, based on my conversations with the FBI director, all they know right now is this was an individual who hated people of the Mormon faith, and they are trying to understand more about this.
He didn't like people of the Mormon faith.
All they know right now is this was an individual who hated people of the Mormon faith, and they are trying to understand more about this, how premeditated it was, how much planning went into it, whether he left a note. All of those questions have yet to be answered, but certainly will be answered by the FBI. I think the American people in your audience can be assured. Look at the great work that the FBI did in light of, or in the hours and days following the assassination on Charlie Kirk's life.
So
that was a successful investigation, and that investigation continues. And that assassin was, of course, being held accountable in the court of law now.
At least two big meetings for the president today. One is going to be with the Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, at which time I understand they were setting out a framework to end the Israeli-Hamas war, but a comprehensive peace for the region. I understand, too, I have a pretty good source that says Bibi's on board. So do you expect there's going to be a press opportunity afterwards? I get it. I know you have sources.
They haven't came out and said it was a hate crime yet, Gillian, but it presumably could be a hate crime, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all double tapping that screen. That's how you hit the like button, or you can click those three dots and hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribing to the channel if you're new. This is Everything News, where we cover everything news, and right now we're talking about the situation that happened in Michigan yesterday, guys. Prayers for all involved.
Is working very close with Hamas, not with them, but they have contacts directly there. How close is Bibi to saying yes? How close to Hamas is saying yes? Have they let you know?
Very close. It is going to be a very busy day here at the White House. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be arriving just behind me in just a few hours to meet with the president and hopefully finalize this peace plan. President Trump and his incredible team have been working so hard since he was inaugurated in January and inherited this mess from the previous Biden administration. And the president met with our Arab partners and allies in New York City when he was at UNGA to hear them out and understand their concerns. The administration has been in both direct and indirect talks with Hamas throughout this entire process as well. And of course, the president is in constant communication with our friend and ally, Prime Minister Netanyahu. And nobody knows better than President Trump to reach a good deal, a reasonable deal for both sides. Both sides have to give up a little bit and might leave the table a little bit unhappy. But that's ultimately how we are going to end this conflict. It must end at the negotiating table. The president has made it very clear. He wants to see the killing end. He wants all of the hostages released. And that's why Special Envoy Witkoff drafted up this very detailed and comprehensive 21-point plan and has proposed it to both sides. So we hope that both sides agree. That's the president's expectation. That is his hope. And he'd love to see this conflict finally come to an end and to ensure a lasting peace in the Middle East, just like he did in his first term.
Has Hamas responded to the proposal? If Bibi's on board, we know Donald Trump is. What about Hamas?
Well, those discussions will continue to take place today. I know the president will be speaking to our friends in Qatar who have served as incredible intermediaries between the United States and Hamas, and we've had some direct talks with them as well. So that's always kind of the crunch point, right? We get everyone to agree, and then Hamas has to agree as well. And so, again, this is why we've drafted a 21-point, incredibly detailed plan that we know can be and must be agreeable to both sides. The president wants to see to that.
So, Caroline, I know the president is supposed to meet with top congressional leaders today. I've heard that they want more funding for illegals, NPR funding, USAID. That seems like some things that are dead on arrival coming to the White House. What can you tell us?
Let me be very clear about the president and the White House's position. All we are asking for is a common sense, clean funding resolution, a continuing resolution to keep the government open. This is a bill that keeps the government funded at the exact same levels as today, just adjusted for inflation. So there is zero good reason for the Democrats to vote against this, especially when the Democrats have voted for this 13 previous times as recently as March. And so this is the reasonable and common sense thing to do. The president is giving Democrat leadership one last chance to be reasonable, to come to the White House today to try to talk about this. And now is not the time to try to get political points against Donald Trump. Now is the time to do right by the American people and keep the government funded. Our most vulnerable in our society and our country will be impacted by a government shutdown. Everybody knows this, and that's why Republicans and the president want to keep the government open, and we welcome Democrats to join us in that effort.
So, Caroline, the president usually comes in with leverage, or he always has something, whether it's a country or it's a group. So is he having this meeting just to hear them say, I want this, and he's going to in turn come back and say, I'm not giving it to you? I had the meeting and be done with it? Like, what could he give? For example, could he agree not to have any more rescission packages for 6 months? Could he agree to visit some of these things if they fund for the next few weeks? Can you give me an idea of any give and take that might be on the table?
Well, look, Brian, the leverage is in the president's hands because the overwhelming majority of the American public wants to keep the government open. I mean, it's not even close. Democrats and Republicans, independents across the country want the government funded because they want our military and our troops to be paid. They want TSA agents and Border Patrol to be paid. They want food assistance programs for women and children in impoverished communities to continue going out the door. All of that will come to an end if Democrats vote against this clean CR that Republicans are proposing. And might I just add, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are on the record multiple times in their past political lives stating that they too believe a government shutdown is bad. In fact, I quote, Chuck Schumer just last year in 2024 said a shutdown would mean chaos and pain and needless heartache for the American people. Well, we hope that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats won't cause chaos and pain and heartache. We want our country to continue to be funded. We want our government to be open so we can continue doing the business of the American people.
Caroline, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Caroline.
Yeah.
Thank
Besides
you.
that, not much happening at the White House today.
Very busy today.
Wow. Want even more Fox News on YouTube?
All right, so that was a little bit on the Michigan situation, guys, as far as the White House sees it. Yeah, it's crazy, y'all. This situation most definitely got all the way out of hand. We have more. The Michigan lawmakers came out to speak about the unaliving situation at Grand Blanc Church, guys. Hold on, let's go over here. This is what they had to say about the whole entire situation.
Came out of a meeting with Grand Blanc Township leadership, the town supervisor, the chief of police, fire, and then made the point of meeting with local leaders, state leaders, and federal leaders all in one room. Obviously, we've seen another Michigan community go through a profound tragedy. We've had too many of these in recent years, and we thought it was important to come together, both in the meeting, but here now, standing together, Democrat, Republican, Independent, to condemn this kind of gruesome violence on people who were just experiencing faith and expressing their freedom of religion, and urge everyone to take a breath. It's important that we let law enforcement do what they need to do, that we let stunned families and communities take a moment to collect themselves and not let conspiracies and social media take over. And we wanted to make that point as a group here across the aisle, for Michigan, for the country.
This is from the lawmakers of Michigan, guys. They're basically
and
on
this
this
kind
situation
of
that took place yesterday.
targeted violence is abhorrent to any good human being. We stand in solidarity with this community that is just yet another member of a terrible fraternity that is dealing with a mass shooting, and in this case also a terrible fire.
And Senator, this area in particular is near and dear to you.
Yes, I live just down the street. I live in Holly. When I heard the news, I think all of us couldn't believe that Grand Blanc Township, I mean, no community can ever believe that they would be on the receiving end of an attack like this. But it's where I come to eat and where I come to visit and drive by every day. So one of my first calls actually was to
prayers for that community, guys, and prayers for all the families that's involved in this, guys. Please take time to click those 3 dots and hit that thumbs up if you don't mind.
Representative Mike Mueller, who lives just down the street, from me. This is very close to both of us. And again,
somebody said they can't hear anything. Can y'all hear out there? Let me know if you can hear what she's saying. Drop a 1 if you can hear everything she's saying.
It doesn't matter what party you're from. This kind of thing just chills you to the bone. And we have a crisis going on, right? We have this happening way too many times. And we have to be leaders right now in acknowledging we have a problem.
Something like this happens in your backyard. Does this make you want to revisit common sense gun reform? I know there's conversation.
Okay, Gillian, that's all that matters. Cookie Monster, you have to be fresh.
How does that?
Look, we don't know the circumstances yet. The law enforcement is still doing their investigation. And there'll be plenty of time for people to take this incident and decide what they want to do with it. But for right now, we have a community that's in pain. We have a community that's very diverse politically, religiously, ethnically, racially. And so I think at this point, to me, I have my personal views, and certainly I was the representative of Oxford High School, of Michigan State University. I used to represent Rochester Hills, where we had the splash pad. We had Wayne, Michigan, with a church. I mean, we have had, by my count, 5 of these in 4 years. We certainly
trending topics. Let's keep the audio clear, man. I mean, let's keep the chat clean, man. Don't type anything vulgar in my chat. This is your first one. The next one, you will be removed. We will block you, my guy. It's okay to voice your opinion, but keep it respectful.
Have a crisis of mental health, and for people feeling like there's no threshold to violence. I think there'll be plenty of time for people to say what they want to say and with the lessons learned out of this incident. But for now, given the context and how many of these incidents have happened just over the past month across the country, we thought it was important to come together and say, we're not going to make this a political football. This is a community in pain. We as leaders are here to try and calm people's nerves, not spin it up with conspiracy theories.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm from out of state. Can you just identify yourself? I just landed.
Hi, Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator, have you been in contact with the Trump administration? I know they've been following this pretty closely.
So I've been in touch with the Homeland Security Committee, which I serve on, federal law enforcement, to make sure that they have everything that they need. I haven't talked to the Trump administration, but I'm headed back to Washington. I'm literally going to the airport just after this. We have a vote tonight. So we'll certainly all be talking about this, and I'll be talking about it again on the Senate floor tonight.
Go ahead.
You say you've spoken with local law enforcement here. Any idea on when the next news conference is going to be?
I think it's coming up here just in the next hour and a half. I think they are, and
I don't think they set the time yet, but
yeah.
sometime today.
And the FBI has taken over the investigation. They'll do all the exploitation. They'll do everything by the book. And I think, I really urge people to take a breath and not just dive into social media and believe everything you hear. This is clearly a mentally ill man, and we just don't understand the motive.
She said he's clearly mentally ill, guys.
Yet, what we know is that people who were just trying to pray at church were killed in their house of worship, a place that should be a sanctuary and safe. And we need to focus on the community now,
Daisy.
getting them the healing that they need.
This can go for either one of you. Have you guys had a chance, or can you speak to the job that law enforcement is doing? And, it's not an easy job to have to deal with a crisis like this.
I'll start and then hand it to these guys, and certainly Mike is a former law enforcement. I think people don't understand how extraordinary.
Let's take time to click those three dots in the right corner, guys. Hit that thumbs up. It helps out the channel. Let's get the likes over 100. We at 55, and we got 392 people in the building. Let's get the likes up, y'all. Either double tap your screen if you're on a mobile device, or click those three dots in the right-hand corner, guys, and hit that thumbs up. We appreciate everybody that's viewing right now.
It was what went on yesterday, the complexity of this attack. Between a vehicle collision, shooting, and then, of course, a fire. There were folks there in seconds. And I think the thing that really came through this morning in our meeting with the chief and with others was how important the active shooter training has been over years in preparing for an incident like this. I cannot imagine how much more loss of life we would have if we didn't have the law enforcement response that we have. And I think we should all be taking our cues from law enforcement right now. They came in, they put their head down, they got to work. They didn't care about politics. They didn't care about social media. They just focused on helping people. And that's what we all should be doing as leaders and as citizens. How do we help and not inflame the situation?
I think that's right, and the only thing that I would add is the extraordinary response time, multiple departments arriving
police was there in
and
30
being able
seconds.
to handle the situation. I think we need to, in the coming days and weeks, really remember our first responders, our firefighters, and our police, who are busy processing the scene and doing what they need to do, but we'll need a lot of support from the community as the weeks go forward.
You want to speak to that? Anything on law enforcement? Just as former law enforcement?
Well, just to make sure that, with the law enforcement side of things, the officers and firefighters that, see this, we got to make sure that we take care of them too with the mental health, because this is going to be an incident that sticks in their mind for the rest of their lives. I was involved in a shooting, so I know what it feels like. They're going to have to make sure they get the treatment. And like the senator said, we need to make sure that this isn't a political thing in our community right now. This is everybody coming together. She has resources, we have resources, and Congresswoman, we all have the resources. We work together, and we want the community to heal together. And that's why we're here together. I mean, we have different opinions on things, but the one thing we always do is to treat each other respectfully, and that's what we need to.
It is a very sad situation, guys, that took place in Michigan, man. prayers, like I said earlier, prayers for all involved, man, the community and the families. We got reports last night that there were little ones that basically lost life in this situation as well, man. Very, very sad, man. All at the hands of a mentally ill man. It's crazy.
Send a message across the state and the country that regardless of these times, look at what we've had happen in the last 2 years, in the last year. This kind of stuff needs to stop. And if we can show solidarity, we can push that out to the communities. And the Grand Blanc community is a great community, and we'll get through this.
Could you say your name and spell it for me?
It's Mike Mueller, M-U-E-L-L-E-R.
Who are you, Mike, sorry?
I'm a state representative, 72nd District, that has parts of Grand Blanc Township, and former law enforcement.
So now people are back to being in fear of going to church, going to the local grocery store or Meijer or Kroger, movie theater. What do you say to those people now in the community that now have a genuine fear of, I don't know if I can even step outside without...
Come on, guys, let's double tap that screen or click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. Let's get the likes over 100, guys. We're at 82. Let's get the likes up. Click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. It helps out the channel, man. This is the latest on the situation that happened in Michigan yesterday, where a gunman drove his truck into the front of a church, guys, set it on fire, and began shooting at everybody that was in attendance at this Mormon church, guys. He was 40 years old. I forget his first name, but his last name was Stanford. Ex-military man. He was what they say, a Marine. Guys, I wonder if he could have been suffering from PTSD. Well, the report we got a while ago said that he basically didn't like people of Mormon faith, guys. That is the report that we got earlier that I showed. This is a sad situation, man. Continue to get those likes up. Let's click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, y'all. It's enough people in here to have 1,000 likes. Hit the like button, guys. It helps out the channel. Make sure you subscribe. We on the road to 50K. We at 48 right now. We need all the subscribers we can get. So subscribe, guys.
Maybe something happening to me.
Well, the thing is you can't let fear control the narrative. We have to, as normal Americans, there are people that have problems, mental health issues, but it's just pay attention to your surroundings. If you can tell, anybody, just always, you don't have to be paranoid, but just know your surroundings and know exit routes when you go to these places. Unfortunately, that's the times that we live in, but don't be afraid to venture out back in your community, because you come together, you're not going to have to worry about that. Everybody comes together. It's very diverse, and we can all get along. But the message is just always know your surroundings.
Yeah, I think the other thing that really came out of this meeting was, from my experience in Oxford and at Michigan State, in Rochester Hills, that people who are experiencing a hard time anyways, when they see an incident like this, it's even harder for them. And they sometimes display behavior that's unusual. We gotta come together and say, hey, are you all right? We gotta reach out to people. People have to understand that we live in communities. We don't just live in our little bubbles. And so I just really encourage, if you know someone who's struggling, it was out there in press that this man was a veteran. So we were checking in on our veterans today, right?
Man, this is a YouTube channel, Joanne. This is a YouTube channel. Most definitely show me respect by hitting my like button. I didn't tell you to send any money, donate anything. What are you talking about? You are disgusting. You are a disgusting person for not wanting to support my channel, but get all the information. I'm up early in the morning bringing you the latest and breaking details all in one spot, and the only thing that you're worried about is me saying hit my like button. Show me respect by hitting my like button for the time and the effort that I put in to bring you this news. Let's get Joanne up out of here. You just got deported. You ain't got a green card anyway. You're probably a troll with no life and no home, and just got a phone yesterday working off McDonald's Wi-Fi. Let's get you right up out of here, Joanne. You know what I'm saying? Go find you somewhere else that ain't saying hit the like button and respect the channel.
And how are people feeling? I just think it's an important moment to say to people that you love and that you know in your community, even someone just walking by, like, how you doing? Are you all right? Anything I can do? I think now more than ever, people need each other, and the bonds of community keep us safe.
And really quickly, I know obviously you just met with law enforcement and community leaders. Have any of you had the chance to meet with members of the church or the families of the victims?
Let's get
I have not. No.
let's get the page up out of here too. Boy, there's something wrong with you people. I swear to God, if you don't have to tap in and type nothing to page. Let's get you right up out of here with your weak self. You probably laying in the bed playing with yourself. Let's get you right up out of here, dog. You just got deported. Understand that on this channel, I got more rockets than Elon Musk, and we deport people faster than Trump. So if you come in here playing, we gonna get you right up out of here. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna send you to the playground to where you can never come to this channel again. Let's get him the page right up out of here expeditiously.
Right now is the process for their grieving, and that will happen over the next couple of
All right, so yeah, before they get me all off subject, this is what the lawmakers of Michigan had to say about this whole entire situation, man. Most definitely a sad situation involving a crazy man that went into the church and unalived people, man. It's sad, y'all. It's sad. Yeah, man, it's really sad. And speaking of sad situations, Tyler Robinson, the guy who unalived Charlie Kirk, he was doing court again today. Let's go right over there as we wait for more official updates to come in. They're holding a press conference any second. It may, matter of fact, it's looking like it's about to be underway right now. So we're gonna pause the Tyler Robinson thing with Charlie Kirk and go over here to this live press conference that they're holding in Michigan, guys, with the most latest updates of what's going on over there. That was the lawmakers. Now we have the police and the FBI and people of that nature that's going to give us an update on exactly everything that they know thus far. Let me take y'all over here. This is a live press conference that's happening right now. So you see them standing against the wall, and one of them standing over there. Hold on, let me get it where we can see everything. Yeah, this is live right here, guys. This is a live look inside where they finna get this press conference. As they prepared, they already set it up. I guess now we're just waiting on somebody to come to the podium and begin to speak, guys. But once again, it was a Mormon church. A crazy man drove into there with his truck that they suspect had gasoline in the back of it, basically set the church on fire and began to shoot at anybody in attendance in the church. They're saying that the FBI basically said, we heard what's her name, Caroline Levitt from the White House basically report that this dude allegedly had problems with people of the Mormon faith, guys. So they're saying this is a targeted attack that took place yesterday in Michigan, guys. 5 people unalive, including a gunman who basically police unalived him when they made it to the scene, man. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. Real talk. Continue to double tap that screen, get the likes up. Most definitely subscribe to the channel if you're new. I don't think there's anything wrong with me telling you to subscribe, for the latest and breaks. All right, here we go. This is it.
Public Information Officer. Thank you for joining us for this afternoon's news conference. Joining us today is Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Colonel James F. Grady II, Director of the Michigan State Police, James Deere, ATF Special Agent in Charge for Michigan, FBI Acting Special Agent in Charge Reuben Coleman, Sheriff Chris Swanson, Genesee County Sheriff, and Chief William Rennie, Grand Blanc Township Police Department.
Thank you. I'm here as governor to bring the full support of the entire state of Michigan to this community. I want to thank all of our local law enforcement, state police, federal agents for their swift response. I want to thank local fire and EMS and medical providers for saving lives and caring for those who are still fighting for their lives in the hospital. And thank the incredible Department of Natural Resources Conservation Officer and the local Grand Blanc officer for their brave actions to take down the shooter and their quick response. I think we can see the best of public service in all of these individuals. As I said, I'm here as the governor, but I'm also here as a fellow Michigander whose heart is breaking by another.
This is the governor of Michigan speaking, guys.
It's supposed to be defined by togetherness and a close-knit community here in Grand Blanc. As a state, we know the pain of this too well. We've seen gun violence in our schools, stores, parades, festivals, and our houses of worship. These are places that we go to feel connected, to feel safe, to be together. But today, this place has been shattered by bullets and broken glass. And this might be a familiar pain, but it hurts all the same. Every time. We cannot keep living our lives like this. I know that this community is reeling right now, and I want you to know that the state of Michigan has your back. Your grief is our grief. I ordered flags lowered statewide, and I spoke with President Trump yesterday, who wanted to share his condolences. We will be here every step of the way and coordinate a full response with our local and federal partners. Folks here at the township, at every level, have been working closely together. If there's one thing I know about Michiganders, is that we get through hard things together, and that's who we are. That's how the good people here at the Grand Blanc Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints live their lives. They worship together, they sing together, and they serve together. And that's why I was so proud to see powerful statements from interfaith leaders across Michigan denouncing this attack on a house of worship. They grieved for this congregation as though it was their own. They spoke with one voice for the basic principle that we all believe in, that you should be able to pray in peace in our state no matter who you are. I know that in the hours and days ahead, we will see the best of Michigan. We will see neighbors being neighborly, checking in with a call, bringing over some food, or offering a hug. We'll see medical providers work hard to save lives and treat those in need, with scars both seen and unseen. We will see this congregation unite and rally together like never before and continue worshiping together, singing together, and serving together. Because that's who Michiganders are. We will stay in close contact and continue to work together. Now, like everyone I know, we have lots of questions. How could this happen? What created this moment?
All right, so now we finna get some details.
And that's motivated by a genuine motivation to understand, to learn, to prevent in the future. But I want to caution everyone. While we are working hard, while the good men and women who are working hard are doing so with due diligence at this juncture, speculation is unhelpful and it can be downright dangerous. So just ask that people lower the temperature of rhetoric. Keep your loved ones close and keep this community close to your hearts. Let's keep doing the work together. Let's be kind and let's love our neighbors. Thank you, and now I'd like to introduce the head of the Michigan State Police, Colonel James Grady.
Thank you, Governor, and good afternoon. Now, this community has been greatly impacted by yesterday's events. We are offering our deepest condolences to those affected by this tragedy.
They say she's a vampire.
This horrific event is something that this community has never experienced. It is important at this time that we come together to support one another in this time of grief. We stand ready and willing to assist both our local and federal partners with any additional needs as this investigation continues. The Michigan State Police immediately responded alongside our public safety partners to secure the scene, provide support to our neighbors, with our emergency support team serving search warrants, the bomb squad and K-9 team sweeping numerous locations for evidence and explosives. Additionally, our forensic science laboratories and our special investigation section continue to investigate the officer-involved shooting and work alongside our federal and local partners. I'd like to take a moment for everybody to...
And I don't know why y'all keep coming and saying that I'm a Trump supporter or this, that, and the third. Man, I'm just bringing the information along. I'm not on either side. I'm not for nor against. This is an informal channel. I'm just giving y'all information. I'm not on any side. Feel free, you know, to let your opinion be heard. Just make it respectful. That's all we ask.
The last year, we put together an initiative called Stop the Plot. While we are committed to keeping our community safe, we also need your help. Again, that takes everybody. 53% of mass attacks leave a trail of clues leading up to them. And 2/3 of mass attackers elicited behavior that cause concerns. So we are asking our communities to stay vigilant, and if you see something suspicious, please contact local law enforcement or 911 immediately. We will keep the family in our prayers here at MSP as they continue to cover and we work together. Thank you for your time. Next up, we will have from the AT. Thank you. We will have ATS Special Agent in Charge for Michigan, James Deere.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Deere with ATF. I'm the Special Agent in Charge for ATF Michigan. On behalf of the men and women of ATF, I offer my deepest sympathy and condolences to this community and to the families affected by this tragedy, this horrific act of violence. There is no place in our society for this. There's absolutely no place. But it's become all too common, and as we know, we have become more and more desensitized. This community is hurting, and we are here to help them heal. As part of that healing process, ATF has brought in their national response team. This is a cadre of world-renowned investigators for arson and explosive incidents. They have been used all over the world, and they come from places as far as California, Hawaii, and they're here in Michigan now. They arrived last night, they've briefed, they're examining the scene, and that is what they're doing at this point. From ATF's perspective, I would encourage the community not to travel by the church. Those roads have been blocked off and access is controlled. While that might be a little disheveling for folks, we need that scene security for our investigators as they dig out the scene.
What's up, Steph?
With that in mind, that's our ask for the community. We are also looking at improvised explosive devices that were recovered during this investigation and looking towards that end as well. I need to introduce the acting Special Agent in Charge for the FBI of Detroit, Michigan, Reuben Coleman.
My name is Reuben Coleman. I'm acting Special Agent in Charge of FBI Detroit Field Office, which represents the entire state. At this time, we wanted to provide an update on our investigative efforts regarding yesterday's tragic shooting at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. First, I want to express my gratitude for all the cross-agency collaboration between our federal, state, and local partners. Their support has been outstanding and critical to this investigation. We are in lockstep with our partners as we continue to work through this. As I mentioned yesterday, the FBI is investigating this as an act of targeted violence, and we are continuing to work to determine
targeted violence, guys.
In the past 24 hours, our investigative squads and specialty teams have been out all night, exhausting leads, some of which have been coming in from the public via tips. Our special agents, victim specialists, child advocate forensic interviewers, and local partners have interviewed over 100 victims and witnesses to date and are continuing to interview individuals as we speak. Our Evidence Response Team, or ERT, which is a specialized team of special agents, intelligence analysts, and professional staff, are trained to process crime scenes and collect evidence. They were out all night and continue processing the scene as we speak. Our field office has stood up national equities for support. We are engaging with our Behavioral Analyst Unit, or BAU, and have received support from our Quantico Labs division to analyze evidence collected to date. We received assistance from our FBI field offices across the country to support this case and follow down leads. While our focus is on this investigation, we want to continue to keep the victims and their families in our thoughts as they navigate through this incredibly difficult time. Please continue to reach out to the FBI via 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit tips at tips.fbi.gov. Thank you. Chief?
Sad, y'all. This is a situation that took place in Michigan.
Performing chaos. I saw it live. I saw what you trained for, what you planned for, and then reality hit yesterday morning on a bright sunny day when people went to worship. But what I also saw is every level of government law enforcement work together for the good of the people. What I witnessed was people putting their lives at risk that had 2 months on a job as an EMT, or brand new firefighters, veteran firefighters, and law enforcement, just to bring a sense of stability to a scene that was chaotic and dynamic. As the sheriff for this county, I see the great people every day. But I want this community to know that those ranks and those agencies that were mentioned before me, we worked together. We worked in concert, and we did the job. And there's more to do. I will tell you, the sheriff's office dedicated every county sheriff medic that we had available, patrol, investigators, we did interviews, emergency management, whatever the task was needed. The sheriff's office worked with everybody that you heard and many that you don't know to bring justice and also order to the scene. But I will tell you, the days are continuing. We have 31 marked cars on as we speak, making sure schools that are in session, in churches that are planning Bible studies, regardless of faith-based, that they will be protected. Anybody who calls in, we will be there, like other law enforcement, to settle the community and bring a sense of calmness to people. There is an uncertainty, but law enforcement, especially this sheriff's office, will bring that to you. I will tell you that there are noble heroes who do not wear a uniform that went to that church yesterday. You're going to hear their stories as we lay out this case with law enforcement, but I will tell you this, those heroes from that church did their job. And it was led because of a police department. So law enforcement from this township is led by a chief who demonstrated leadership right out of the gate. And my honor is to announce him as the final speaker, Chief Rennie of Grand Blanc Township.
Thank you, Sheriff. Evil. This was an evil act of violence. That's exactly what this was. And this is not.
This is a situation that happened in Michigan, LG7.
We are.
It was a mass shooting at a church.
I am confident that together we're going to build a stronger community due to this incident. Now, an update. This left 5 people dead, 8 people injured. As I said, this is an evil act and does not define Grand Blanc or who we are. At this time, what we know is everyone has been accounted for. We still are in the process of clearing out that church, but at this time, everyone is accounted for. We ask that you stay away from the scene. Let us work to clear this call so then we could get back to normal. That's what we all want. Grand Blanc Township police officers, the community of Grand Blanc Township, we're hurting. And we know that you are hurting as well with us. I want to remind you that we had the Family Assistance Center open. They will be open Monday and Tuesday at the Genesis Athletic Club from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That address is 801 Health Park Boulevard, Grand Blanc, Michigan 48439. Seek service, let's come back together and be stronger together and better. I'll open it up at this time for any questions. Sir.
One question, when it comes to the act of violence, can you define why it is considered an act of violence and not something more serious like terrorism?
I will let Agent Coleman speak to that particular question.
Yes, as of right now, we are calling it an act of violence as this is an investigation that is continuing. We are continuing to receive leads. We're continuing to run down all information. And once we're able to ascertain definitively what we have, that's when we'll make those statements. But as of right now...
Why isn't it a hate crime?
You call this an act of targeted violence. Can you tell us who you believe the target was? A specific person, the LDS Church, another group?
Well, as of right now, again, as this is an ongoing investigation, what I will say is when I say targeted violence, I mean targeted within our state and within our community. Right now, what we are here for are the families and the victims, and we're going to work diligently in order to make sure we can bring closure for them as well.
Motive, there was some chatter that the suspect's ex-girlfriend was a Mormon or something of that nature, chatter online about that. Is that something that you can speak to, or any possible motive?
That is something I cannot speak to at this point in time.
This was someone was arrested after driving through the barricade near the church. Can you share any information on that, why they were arrested, maybe what their intentions were?
Yes, Chief.
Yes, I could speak on that. Yes, there was an incident out there. We are still in the process of investigating that incident, whether or not it's related or not. I could tell you that we do have a 21-year-old person in custody for that incident right now.
Does the suspect have any?
Wow. So a 21-year-old is in custody,
Are
guys.
you talking about the suspect from yesterday or today?
The suspect from yesterday.
The suspect from yesterday has been arrested by law enforcement in the past.
And the 5 dead, does that include the suspect or is that another?
The 5 dead includes the suspect.
Can you give any details on what the prior arrests were?
Burglary and OWI. That I can't give you 100%.
What do we know?
Terry.
No, so I just wanted to clarify, no more victims. You searched the church and...
We have not completed search in the church, but as we know, everyone has been accounted for. That's going to be all the questions that we answered today. If you, this is our last press conference. If there's other pertinent information that develops, we will let you guys all know and post that on our social media account, Grand Blanc Township Police Department Facebook page. Thank you.
Well, what we did get, there was a 21-year-old that was also arrested, guys.
I'd just like to note that Dr. Michael Danick, the medical chief of staff from Henry Ford Genesis, will be available for questions after this news conference. He's here on the side of the room. Does anybody need any spelling of names? No?
Would it be possible to just bring them up right now?
Sure. Yep.
So I guess this is the medical examiner.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren Zakalik. I'm the PR director at Henry Ford Health. I'm going to introduce now Dr. Michael Danick, normal spelling for Michael, D-A-N-I-C. He is our medical chief of staff at Henry Ford Genesis Hospital. He's going to make some opening remarks, talk about what happened yesterday. We'll take a few questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It was a very sad day for our community. Our law enforcement did amazing, as well as our medical staff.
Sad. Prayers for all involved, guys.
Area. Henry Ford Genesis was prepared and did extremely well. And we also like to thank Hurley and McLaren for taking great care of all the patients. An update on what we have had is we had a total of 8 patients at Henry Ford Genesis from the ages of 6 to 78.
Wow.
5 were gunshot wounds and 3 were smoke inhalations. 2 of the smoke inhalations have been discharged. 1 is still intubated at this time. For the gunshot wounds, 1 had sustained gunshot wounds, multiple to the chest and abdomen, is in critical condition. 1 had to the abdomen, is in critical condition still, but mostly stable. 1 of the victims did die in the emergency department.
Wow.
The child came in, was stabilized, and then transferred. And then there was another gentleman who had a gunshot on the leg. The trauma team was really well prepared for this. They activated the Mass Casualty Incident Command. Our trauma surgeon, Christopher Ash, was on the team, and John Vance, one of our other trauma surgeons, helped lead the charge. Dr. Sandy Ross was the ER attending at the time and did a phenomenal job of triaging. All of the community members came together. We hate having to prepare for these kind of events, but we are prepared, as well as the other hospitals in our community. We're very grateful to be helping to serve this community, and will continue to do for years to come. So, any questions?
How many were what round struck the victims? You said someone shot in the chest and abdomen. Was this with rifle, 2-3-round handgun? Can you speak?
I don't have information on the caliber.
How many were under the age of 18?
I don't have that answer either.
What is the age range?
It was 6 to 78.
Of the people found in the church after it was evacuated, do you know anything about the suspected cause of death of those 2 people?
I do not, and I can't extract.
6 to 78, guys. So there was 6 to 78 years old, guys. Little ones were injured in this situation as well. I don't know how many were little ones were unalive, but most definitely injured, man. Sad.
Dr. Danick was one of the physicians that was treating patients yesterday. If anybody wants to ask him about his experience and just being there.
I will say it was very interesting taking care of our community members in this kind of a traumatic experience. We had a number of our residents who were members of the church and were on site. Not only were they victims, they were also first responders. And having your friends and family come in injured and taking care of them is a really incredible experience. They were heroes. Those on the scene were absolute heroes, going in and out of the fire.
They're talking about the situation that happened in Michigan yesterday. 5 people unalive. I think they said it was 8 total injured, 5 unalive, including the gunman, guys.
Have you ever seen anything even like to this extent in our community, and what was that like for you to respond to?
Never in our community. A lot of us who have trained in the trauma settings.
Nah, Daisy, he's the medical examiner. He's the one that treated the patients after this situation.
It's just strange when it's your community hospital.
Last question.
Yeah, we're very happy that the instinct was to help, and we have a great loving community, and the instinct was there, but I cannot comment on the work stoppage.
All right, thank you.
No, 5 people unalive, Daisy.
Resident physicians, those in training. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, let's take time to hit that like button, guys. Click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. Let's get the likes moving. They stuck at 157. Click the 3 dots, hit the thumbs up, guys. That was the medical examiner from Michigan, basically telling us what kind of condition the people were in when they came in to the hospital. How many were unalive? He said that the patients were from 6 to 75 years old, guys. So there were some little ones that was involved in all this, basically that were hurt. They didn't give a number of how many little ones may have been unalive, but they most definitely said that, I think they said that there were 5 people that were unalive, 1 including the gunman, and 4 other people from the church, guys. Yeah, man, it is a very sad situation. That was the latest in breaking. And they also said something about a guy 21 years old that was also arrested. We heard about the 40-year-old Mr. Stanford that was an ex-Marine, that fought in the Iraq war, I believe they said yesterday. I covered a lot of this yesterday. You can go back on my channel and view my live from yesterday where I covered a lot of this as they were giving breaking news on the situation. But yeah, all of that right there this was all from the Michigan situation. Okay, let's move right along because I got reports that Charlie Kirk's unaliver, Tyler Robinson, is due in court today. You know what I'm saying? We most definitely got that as well as Trump meeting at the White House. All right, hold on. Let me get over here to this one, guys. This is about Tyler Robinson, court appearance that we're about to see in a second.
Continuing to follow more of your major headlines from today. Happening today, the 22-year-old man charged with killing Charlie Kirk will have a court hearing where he and his newly appointed legal counsel will decide whether they want a preliminary hearing where the judge will determine if there is enough evidence against him to go forward with a trial. That's according to the Associated Press. Now, joining us now to break this all down and what we can expect later on today is a legal analyst.
Now, I don't know how many of y'all out here believe that this is real or that Tyler actually has something to do with it. But I seen reports that says that Candace Owens, one of Charlie's closest friends, is not believing any of this, guys. She's basically went on record as far as social media says, so I'm going to say allegedly, saying that Tyler was never at the campus. He wasn't the gunman. He wasn't looking to take himself out. If you know what that means, you can't say the S word on YouTube. They very censored over here. But yeah, she's basically calling all of this a bunch of crap and saying that it is a government cover-up and people are lying, allegedly.
Jeremy Rosenthal. Jeremy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So big moments here as we're following this case. There's a lot of interest in it. It was such major breaking news, and it's going to continue for several months now, it seems. But let's talk about this preliminary hearing and whether Tyler Robinson and his attorneys are going to decide to go with that. What are the pros and cons?
There's not a lot of pros to waiving a hearing like this. When you are facing the death penalty, you're not really in the rights waiving business, if you will. Catherine Nestor is his newly appointed public defender. She is, from everything that's out there, an extremely qualified lawyer, has handled some high profile cases. What happens is you get a preliminary hearing in Utah. This is the case in many states where you can contest just sort of the probable cause in the case. Think of it in football terms like a scrimmage. You get just sort of a chance to kind of just sort of see what the opponent's about, see how certain witnesses testify. You would get access to a little bit of the evidence that the state has to put on, that the prosecution has to put on. Not that you think that you're going to win it, because if you win it, he gets out. And I don't think there's any realistic chance of that.
But what in the Mr. Magoo is going on with this guy's glasses, man? Very unique eyewear there, my guy. Makes him look like Mr. Magoo. But hey, that ain't none of my business. Back to the subject of Tyler Robinson involvement in the Charlie Kirk unaliving. Man, what is going on with your glasses?
Because if you win it, he gets out. And I don't think there's any realistic chance of that. But I would anticipate that they don't waive this hearing, that they want to go ahead and have it, and just to see if they can kind of feel out their opponent just a little bit. Use this hearing as a discovery tool to kind of figure out what's going on. So today is about whether or not he is going to ask for that preliminary hearing or to set the case for an arraignment, which is just sort of a pretrial issue. So I would think that they're in discovery mode. They want to learn as much as they possibly can about the charges that they're facing, and they're going to try to really feel out any type of defensive strategy that they can sort of get a hold of here.
We've been hearing a lot that prosecutors are going to be seeking the death penalty in this case.
Yes,
how
they are.
difficult would it be to actually get that death penalty as the punishment for this entire thing? I mean, what kind of challenges are prosecutors looking at with this?
Having somebody sentenced to the death penalty is a really hard standard to accomplish, to achieve, if you're a prosecutor, and rightfully so, right? A capital punishment is the most severe, the most extreme. You can't undo it. You've really got to prove to the jury that he represents what's called a future danger, and that's can be a difficult standard. You've got to get there by proving that he is a you've got to get there by first showing that he is qualifies for an aggravating factor. That is that he committed this murder and that at least one other factor was present. That he also.
Me personally, I believe that this guy is guilty as charged. But hey, man, I could be wrong. A lot of people is saying that they don't believe that Tyler did it, including Candace Owens, allegedly. But I most definitely feel like they may have the right person due to his dad being the one that basically turned him in. I'm just saying his family turned him in. They could have just been trying to get some reward money. He could have been just crazy. I don't know. But in my opinion, I think they got it right when it comes to Tyler Robinson. Y'all are free to feel however y'all want to feel. I just personally think they got it right. But hey, you know, it could be a cover-up, allegedly.
Endangered other people in the public. They're alleging that this was done in the presence of children, which I think are going to be it's going to be very easy to prove that. And then on top of that, you've got to prove that he had that he is a future danger going forward, which they're going to point to a lot of the premeditation. They're going to point to a lot of the facts that, look, when he murdered Charlie Kirk, this was not something he just woke up and did one morning. This is something that he meticulously planned, that he reconned, that he very carefully chose to do, that he had not one, not two, not three. He had 10, 20 opportunities to back off and say, no, I'm not going to do this. That's the type of evidence that the prosecutor is going to point to show that he's a future danger and that he is worthy of the death penalty. If I'm defending the case, then that a victory here is keeping his life and not allowing him to be executed. I don't know if there's a deal that's possible, like in the Brian Koberger case, when Erica Kirk spoke. She forgave him. I don't know how far that grace goes, and I don't know that she's.
Yeah, they do got a lot of evidence against him. I seen the Discord chats that he had as well with the furries or whatever. They got a lot of evidence against Tyler Robinson, guys, including they have the trans boyfriend, girlfriend, whichever one you want to call it, cooperating with authorities. Don't forget about the letter that they found that he left, basically telling him to watch the news. It was a lot of premeditation that went on in this situation. I mean, I seen Mama K down there tell me, sir, I'm not informed. Well, I'm just going off by the stuff that's being presented to me. You are most definitely entitled to your opinion. I'm not knocking you for yours. Don't knock me for mine. Everybody is not going to think the same. Some of us are going to believe that he's guilty as charged, and some of you may believe that he's innocent. Hey, man, it's your mind, your thoughts, your perspective. It's all on you. I just feel like they got it right this time, but that's just my personal opinion.
Going to feel the same way in a year or 2 years or whenever this comes to whenever that type of decision comes. So those are sort of the legal boundaries that are kind of beginning to form here.
So I'm glad that you mentioned, first of all, his wife, Erica Kirk, forgiving the suspect in this. It's what we saw with her speech for his memorial, because I wanted to segue and talk about how much of an impact it has on this case, the fact that it was Charlie Kirk, someone who is relatively well known, a political activist. He was the one that was murdered. I mean, what kind of impact does that have here?
It may carry a very significant impact. When you're a prosecutor, you develop a very close relationship oftentimes with the victim and with their families. And a lot of prosecutors, their client is the state. Their client is the state of Utah for these lawyers. But they see themselves oftentimes as they're the lawyers for the victims and trying to get the victims justice. So a lot of times they will take very seriously.
I'm not just listening to MSN. What are you talking about, Mama K? You are projecting, ma'am. I'm going off my own personal feelings about this situation. I'm not referring to no MSN. What are you talking about? This is an unbiased platform. We look at everything from all angles. We hear both sides. Your side as well as their side. They always say it's your side, my side, and then the truth. So we're just looking for the truth. Like, I'm not watching no MSN and basing my opinion off of them. I'm not watching CNN and basing my opinion off of them. I'm not watching Fox and basing my opinion off of them. I'm looking at everything that's being presented from every angle, from every channel, and basing it off of that. Now, I'm not just one-sided over here, man. Maybe you should try not being one-sided, and you may come up with a different conclusion. But anyway,
what the victims want. They'll also understand what the public wants. If Erica Kirk is of the mindset to spare, that the government should spare Tyler Robinson's life, then the government's going to take that, I think, extremely seriously. And it probably does afford them a little bit of political cover to, if they are going to make a deal like that where he goes to prison for life without parole, and Erica Kirk is in favor of it, then whoever the elected officials are and whoever the powers that be are prosecuting this case, they can look back and say, well, look, we did what she wanted. So that really sort of gives them cover. If she didn't want this, then I don't know that they would ever agree to a life sentence here. I think they would try to seek the death penalty. It's a very complex decision to make, and it's a very hard one. You're talking about another human being, whether they live or die, and that's never an easy discussion.
Well, Jeremy, there's still a lot more questions than there are answers. Again, this is only going to be the second court appearance, I believe, for the suspect. So very early in these stages, but we're going to keep in touch with you as we see how this develops. Jeremy Rosenthal, legal analyst.
Somebody said, what about what you mean the other side? Well, you got people like Candace Owens that believes that it's a cover-up. You got the mainstream media putting out that he was the actual guy that did it. So I sit down and I listen to all reports that come out. I listen to a majority of them, and I base my decision off everything that I've heard. What makes the most sense to me, yeah. So therefore, it's not no one-sidedness. It's looking at everything as it's being presented by all parties, whether you're for or against, and just coming up with my own conclusion, man. And I'm not knocking anybody for their conclusion. So don't knock me for mine. But that was basically a little rundown of what was supposed to take place in court today, and we also have the footage of what actually took place in court today. Let's get right to it. Tyler Robinson's hearing in Utah, guys. As of today, this morning, just a couple of minutes ago, he was in court, and they basically laid some things out. Let's see what they had to say regarding Tyler Robinson and the Charlie Kirk situation.
A process where we can exchange information as quickly as possible and be efficient in that process. The other item I had, Your Honor, I saw that over the weekend there was a protection order, pretrial, and trial publicity order entered by Your Honor. And I just was seeking some clarification. On page 2, at the end of the first paragraph, it reads, "To that end, lawyers participating in the investigation or litigation of this case shall inform all witnesses, investigators, consultants, staff members, or other members of the prosecution or defense teams that the prohibitions contained in this order." The state were seeking some clarification with respect to the phrase "all witnesses," Your Honor. There are a number of witnesses that have yet to be identified that will likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now. So we're looking for a little clarification from the court. And I suppose we're not going to make any arguments today, but there may be some follow-up pleadings that we may need to file.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor, did you want to be heard about that issue?
No, Your Honor, we would defer to whatever the court wants to advise them on that matter. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that we don't know who all the witnesses are in this case yet. I think it's just important that if anyone is identified, that they have information about this order. So I think other than that, we wouldn't weigh in on any other matter.
That's how you do it, Mama K. That's how you do it. There you go. She says, so explain the photo of the rifle, or why are there flashlights being shown on it when they discovered the weapon during the daytime? It's a stock photo. Or it could be, or maybe they didn't touch the weapon, basically letting it sit there, and then night fell and they took a picture. Maybe that could be a part of it, Mama K. Or you could be absolutely right. Maybe it is a stock photo. It could most definitely be. They also said that the weapon could possibly be untraceable. I seen that as well. See what I'm saying? I know more than what you think I know. They said they came on one day and said that the weapon that was used against Charlie Kirk, due to his age, could possibly be untraceable, which led some people to believe that this was a setup, Mama K. But good question, about the rifle being found and flashlights being on it, in the picture. It could be a stock photo. Who knows? But I feel you. Thank you for that piece of information that you provided to the channel. There you go. You learned.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that question. That's an important one. The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially...
All right, so then you got an opposing view. The M Bookie says, Mama K, there's a scope. There's no flashlights at all. There you go. Let's go.
Many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that you would be able to do that up front, but as they become known, I would ask that you would inform them of this. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state. Nothing else, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor.
Thank you, Your Honor. We recognize that we are here today for a waiver hearing. It is not our intent to waive a preliminary hearing in this matter. We are going to be seeking that one be set. However, based largely on what the state just referred to as far as the voluminous nature of the discovery materials, we do think it would be prudent to simply reset.
Mama K said there was a freaking scope on that gun. That's what she said.
For another conference, another waiver hearing, a little bit down the road, where we have a better idea once we start seeing the discovery as it rolls in. I do recognize we're going to be getting that first batch in 5 days, but it's my understanding from our meeting today that there is massive amounts of digital that is going to be coming. And until we can kind of get our heads around exactly what we're dealing with and how much we need to process, it's going to be difficult for us to give you a reasonable expectation of when we will be ready to do the prelims. So we're asking today that we put that decision off, and maybe we could check in 30 to 60 days and just kind of let the court know where we're at and how much we're looking at and how much time we may need to set a preliminary hearing. Also, as far as a detention hearing, we are not asking the court to address that issue at this time. Under the statute, the issue is going to come down to the question of whether there's substantial evidence, which right now we're just not in a position at all to be able to even argue to the court. So we are probably going to ask that the court delay that decision possibly until the time of the prelim. But if it's sooner, we will ask the court for a hearing. But at this time, we are not asking the court to make any decisions on that matter.
Thank you, counsel. In regards to the next hearing date, how about October 30th at 10 a.m.?
That works for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
That's fine for the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Now, as we're at the beginning, anything further from counsel from either side?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
As we are at the beginning of this case, it is my intent to only speak when I'm needed or it is necessary. But today I do wish to provide guidance and expectations that you can have for this court and wish to enter an order as well. As this case moves forward, Mr. Robinson's constitutional rights will be protected at every stage. He sits before this court presumed innocent, and that presumption remains unless and until each element of every offense charged against him is proved beyond a reasonable doubt. At the same time, and as applicable, victims are entitled under our Constitution to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, free from harassment or abuse. Justice demands that both of these principles, the rights of the accused and the rights of victims, be honored without compromise. I remain steadfast in my oath that I made 56 days ago to support and defend the constitutions of the United States and of Utah. I will carry out my duties with fidelity, transparency, and impartiality, treating every person who appears before me with the dignity and respect they are inherently due because they are human beings. Let me be clear, I will not put my finger on the scale of justice. These proceedings will be open to the public, conducted in accordance with the law, and handled with diligence and competence to ensure that justice is never...
These proceedings will be public, guys, so there will be plenty more on Tyler Robinson to come, guys. They are doing this publicly. It's open to the public.
...compromised. It is the standing order of this court that Mr. Robinson shall be allowed to appear in person so he can fully engage with his attorneys and participate in these legal proceedings.
They're saying he has a public defender, guys.
Also, regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation
Let's
or
go,
single
Daisy. You are
individual,
not a bot.
we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice. In regards to the next hearing, counsel, on that October 30th date at 10 a.m., it's the court's intent that it be in person if it be the wish of counsel for the defense for Mr. Robinson to be present.
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Counsel, anything else that we can address today?
Your Honor, we appreciate the court's comments with respect to Your Honor's role in this case. In like matter, we commit to approach this case with integrity, with professionalism and civility. We are truth seekers. We will aggressively pursue the truth in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, counsel, unless there's anything else, thank you for being here. This court is in recess.
All right, so that was everything that they presented today in the Tyler Robinson situation, guys. He is the one that's accused of unaliving Charlie Kirk. You know, a lot of people believe that is fake. Some people believe it's real. He's most definitely going to be going to trial, and they have enacted the unalive penalty in this situation, guys. All right, so we got another thing going on with Trump having a meeting with whatever this Netanyahu, you know, of Israel, guys. It's most definitely about to be a press conference from the White House. One of the things that's in my title, I'm most definitely trying to wait on them to get everything in order, guys. They are most definitely in there. It is most definitely about to be they are basically about to talk any second now. As I sit here and wait on them to get everything going as it's supposed to be going, guys. Yeah, man, a lot of stuff happening in the news today. A lot of shocking things happening in the news. The Michigan thing just kind of overwhelmed me, guys. I could not believe it. I'm like, man, what is this country coming to, man? It's always something every day. Every day here lately is some form of a mass shooting going on. I just see something right now. We'll go over here. This is not in my title, but apparently there was a situation that happened in North Carolina, guys, with a mass shooting. They're giving a press conference on that right now. Let's skip over here until Trump and them get ready and basically start speaking, and then we'll go live to the White House where they're having their press conference at. But let's go over here to the situation that happened in Carolina. Let's find out what's going on over there, guys. It says North Carolina mass shooting update.
Towns, whether they're enjoying a dinner or praying in church or coming home from work, we must do better to keep people safe. I want to transition and just say a word about the storm, since I'm here on the coast and we are still in a state of emergency.
IGT, we need some facts on this situation. Mass shooting in North Carolina. Give me some facts.
Highway Patrol. We are encouraged that the recent forecasts have shown that the storm Imelda has been pushed further off our coast. But it does not mean that there will not be impacts from this storm felt on land or that we should not be prepared. The combined impact of the two storms, Umberto and Imelda, may cause isolated flash flooding, coastal flooding, ocean overwash, wind gusts, and dangerous rip currents throughout much of this week. The storm will likely linger, and hazardous conditions on the coast.
Man, they talking about a storm. Let me rewind this some because it's been going for a little bit. They done started talking about. He up here talking the whole time too. See what's going on.
You are not alone in your heartache or pain, and your professionalism. I have faith that.
Is he a preacher or something?
Utah, Minnesota, and Kentucky, and I'm talking about just in the last few weeks, are clarion calls telling us that we have more work to do to make sure that people are both actually safe and that they feel safe. But some can't be serious about protecting the people of this state. Transition and just say a word about the storm, since I'm here on the coast and we.
Man, he ain't said nothing about the situation. He talking about storms and everything else.
Patrol and our local partners. At the same time, we hope for the best. Last Saturday's.
All right, here we go.
1 year milestone of Hurricane Helene.
No, we talking about hurricanes again.
Being prepared.
Okay, she said that's our governor.
Anna
okay.
And I, our First Lady and I, spent the weekend with our neighbors in Western North Carolina. The milestone event stirred incredible emotions out west. Folks were mourning all that was lost, 108 lives lost in the storm. At the same time, they were celebrating the remarkable progress that they've made, and they're sober in their recognition.
Man, we hearing about a storm. I thought we was talking about this situation that happened over there.
This weather system is not looking nearly as catastrophic as Helene, thank gosh. Know that we're preparing early and knowing that preparing early and following emergency guidance can save lives. My last thought is that in times like this, whether
we'll come back to him. We'll come back to them. I don't know what they got going on over there. They talking about weather. I'm not over there to worry about their weather. Let's go over here. We're still waiting on Trump and them to take the podium at this press conference, guys. They're doing mic checks.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check 1, 2. Hey, hey. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The Prime
Audio
Minister
check 1, 2,
of
1, 2, 1, 2.
Israel.
Hey, hey.
Netanyahu.
Audio check 1, 2. 1, 2. All right.
Avery in Carolina.
Last audio check. Check
This
1, 2,
is
3, 4, 5, 6.
from the White House, guys.
1, 2, 3,
Trump
4,
and
5, 6.
Netanyahu
1, 2,
press
3, 4, 5, 6.
underway. Daisy in Carolina.
1, 2, hey, hey. Audio check 1, 2, hey, hey. Audio check 1, 2, hey, hey. Check 1, 2. Audio check from POTUS podium. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Let me know when you're good to go. 1, 2, hey, hey. Audio check 1, 2, hey, hey. Check 1, 2, hey, hey. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
No, this is not Israel. This is at the White House where they're about to have a press conference with Trump and the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu.
Okay.
They're doing mic checks right now. It's about to get underway,
Check
guys.
1,
This
2.
is live.
Check 1, 2, hey, hey. Audio check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, 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 hey.
And then they turned it back off. So yeah, I'm guessing any second, since they're checking mics to make sure everything is clear, they should be taking the podium any second to talk. Doing mic checks. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 5, 5, 5, 7, 7, 9, 9. Mic check 1, 2, 2. You mean the Prime Minister of the USA? No, Trump is the president of the USA, and Netanyahu is the Prime Minister of Israel. Man, y'all get the likes up. We need 300 at least, man. We need 300 likes at least. That means if you ain't hit that like button, click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up, and we wait for Trump and Netanyahu to take the podium and basically give us some speeches. Don't worry about it, IGT. We on to something else now. They was over there talking about the weather. So I just went over here and we're gonna all wait together for Trump them to take the podium and start speaking, man. As we wait, guys. is most definitely live. We're just waiting for the press conference to begin. If it's recorded, we would have been already to it. We're waiting on them to get ready. It's live. The press conference should have already started, guys. I don't know what they got going, but it seems to be some form of delay of why they haven't gone up there yet. It was supposed to have started at 12:15 Central Standard Time. I don't know what they're waiting on, but we're waiting on them to basically broadcast live, guys. Until then, make sure you double tap on that screen. That's how you hit the like button, or you can click those three dots and hit that thumbs up. Most definitely like the channel. It helps the channel when you hit the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are new. We on the road to 50K, guys. Most definitely subscribe.
prevent and unlawful encroachment on the roles, responsibilities, and jurisdiction of our police department. The rule establish coordination citywide if, in fact, federal troops are deployed, and will coerce to plan and coordinate so there is a clear process.
We'll go here until it starts with Trump and Netanyahu. This is the reports of Trump troops to Oregon, guys. President Trump has National Guard to Oregon, guys. This is the official press conference.
Be more than happy to take a few questions.
On this directly?
I received, I think I've described it a few weeks ago, a letter from the the U.S. Attorney, Pam Bondi, and I responded in alignment with what I've said today. That was, again, as I said earlier, literally, and maybe the Attorney General could address, we get the news like you do. Tweet, news media, news articles. There is not any direct communication to speak of that you would think, which is totally distinct from the previous administration, where we are just phone calls away. Yes.
About the letter demanding that the city end sanctuary policy, is that the letter?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Have you received any other indications, or what makes you think that they might send troops here? I guess is that the substance of why you think the troops might be sent here by?
Yeah. Let me address that question in a few ways. I have not received direct communications on this issue that they're coming here, but I have read many statements in the newspaper about his son calling Seattle and Portland in the same breath a crap hole. They've made direct references to Seattle in different news accounts, but I have not received direct communication from them on their plans.
The National Guard here in Washington telling you, you've talked to them, the governor, G&G has talked to them?
Yes, that'd be Major General Welch, who we have a conference call established with him this afternoon. We are in communications with Major General, and we'll continue that, and that's sort of part of our pre-planning efforts. And I appreciate the governor, who again I communicated with this morning, coordinating that to make sure we're all aligned in our strategies.
Attorney General
Yes.
Brown, a question on court rulings. I believe the court, there was a ruling about the LA National Guard deployment that said it was unlawful. I think it might be on appeal, but my understanding is that it was a ruling about the particular role that the National Guard played there. What is your understanding of the president's legal authority? Is there some window where he has the legal authority to activate troops, or does it depend on what they do? How broad is the challenge that you're going to bring potentially, and what kind of ruling do you hope to get?
I mean, the President of the United States has massive authority, and rightly so, to mobilize National Guards, to use the United States military to respond to threats, both foreign and domestic. What the law requires, however, is often procedural steps, right? That when you're mobilizing the National Guard, it's supposed to work in conjunction
What's up,
with
Tammy?
the governor's office. And so that sort of communication, which did not happen in Los Angeles, is one of the procedural steps that's supposed to happen. There are legal requirements for the facts on the ground that need to exist to justify the mobilization of the National Guard, or certainly the use of United States military troops. It depends on the types of authorities that the president is asserting, whether he's initiating the Insurrection Act or some other tool. I think the problem that we see is that it's completely reckless, and there was a Washington Post story that highlighted two facts that I thought were so on point to the type of person we have leading the United States of America. One was that the announcement to that he was ordering the Department of War to use full force against the city of Portland was sent while the president was on the golf course.
Wow.
And just the idea that the president of the United States is taking such drastic action against an American city while he's on the back nine should alarm all Americans, because it displays a complete lack of seriousness from this president. The other part of that reporting that I thought was also very important is that it caught the Pentagon totally unaware. There was no internal coordination with the Pentagon. There was no work with them about the president's plans. It seems once again that he was watching a story or reading other things on Twitter and that got him riled up, and then he made an announcement.
Trump sends troops to Oregon, guys.
So
This
when
is
we
the
talk about
official press
communication
conference.
to
This
state
is
and local
live.
leaders, that's certainly not happening. But he's also not coordinating with his own people. But at the end of the day, our ability and our need to bring a lawsuit will really depend on the facts of the ground and the authorities that the President of the United States tries to claim. I mean, Seattle is certainly not war ravaged, neither is Portland. We do not see anything happening here that would lead or generate an insurrection. Every city, Seattle included, has problems, things that we need to get better on, things that we need to improve. But, you know, as someone who lives and works in this city and walks around the city quite often, there was nothing here that would necessitate what we've seen in other places. But it wasn't there in Portland. You know, and there's a statement from the mayor, the congressional leaders there, the governor, and the attorney general in Portland, all completely befuddled by the president's characterization of their city. And so while we don't, and we recognize that those facts on the ground do not exist here, that is not going to stop this president from tweeting something while he's on the golf course because he read something on Fox News.
How do you plan to protect National Guard members who may get caught between federal orders and state orders?
Well, you know, the National Guard and the leadership of the National Guard in every state, they wear dual hats, and they are often
sounds like they don't want them. They don't want the National Guard in Portland. Seems like.
But
they said this move was unwarranted
under the direction of the governor and supporting things that are happening here. And so I know that they are often put in very difficult positions, having spoken and working with their leadership in prior iterations. What we want to make sure that we are enforcing the law, and so if they are called into duty for what we think is an improper purpose, then we challenge that and we go to court to make sure that they are not put into some of those difficult positions. The other thing that I would highlight is that when the National Guard is mobilized on an absurd and I think illegal purpose, they're taking away.
Trump administration called 200 members of the Oregon National Guard into federal service on Sunday for a 60-day deployment, guys. They're there for 60 days.
To true emergencies within their scope.
This is Oregon.
And so the idea that you would mobilize the Washington State National Guard to walk around the city of Seattle or use the Portland National Guard.
Hours later, the order was met with resistance from Oregon's top officials. The city of Portland, in the form of federal lawsuit, Oregon administration had overreached and acted unlawfully, guys.
As National Guard members, and we don't want to see that abuse happen anywhere, in particular here in Washington.
I guess for Attorney General as well, the directive.
This is the press conference, guys.
Why don't they have the right to do that?
Well, I'll let AG Rayfield's lawsuit speak for itself. I think it's a solid lawsuit that our team has helped work with them on. But what we see and what was reflected, and maybe Mayor Harrell can talk about it as well, but what the city of Portland is saying is that they've got it, that their law enforcement can in fact
save grace. They're talking about Portland, though. This is most definitely in Oregon.
At that specific and individual ICE facility.
He may be from wherever, but they're talking about the Portland, Oregon situation.
We needed SPD and the chief to respond to those sorts of things. We would use them to respond accordingly. And working with the other federal law enforcement officials that are here on the ground. But the idea that you would mobilize an entire military unit to respond to a very minor incident in Portland is contrary to what the people in Oregon and what people in Portland are saying is necessary, in particular the mayor. And so I think that what the president is saying just is not reflective to the true facts on the ground in Portland.
General, do you anticipate possibly joining this Portland lawsuit?
Look at Saved by Grace. They wanted to come through and tell us something we didn't know. He may be from wherever he's from. They say this is Nick Brown from Washington State, not Oregon. But he's speaking up for Oregon. This press conference is taking place in Oregon, Nick. You know what I'm saying? Regardless to who he is, this is about the situation with the troops in Oregon.
As well, I mean, we're hearing that Trump wants to remove the FIFA World Cups away from cities that he does deem unsafe. So can you elaborate a little bit on that?
I'll just answer we won't join their lawsuit. We're not a party to that lawsuit. We certainly want to lend our expertise and assistance to Oregon or any other jurisdiction that's facing that same sort of threat. But we wouldn't be a party to that lawsuit. It's possible we could join in as an amicus counsel to help support them, but not as an actual party.
I'll respond to the FIFA games. I'm going to assume, like many things the president says they're simply words. I don't think he has any appreciation at all for the amount of planning that's gone in with this. Actually, Seattle is one of the leading cities of the host cities. Both Mayor Lucas in Kansas City and I hosted at the U.S. Conference of Mayors the hosting cities for FIFA games. A lot of preparations here. There's absolutely no data to suggest we're not one of the leading cities to be prepared. This is huge for our region. So once again, he probably
They're basically saying they don't need troops in Oregon.
Without any that are baseless statements. So we feel confident we're still ready to host the games.
Curious about the communication again. Seems like there's letters going back and forth. There's tweets. You say you're reading announcements from the golf course or whatever. You know, has there been any effort from either side? You know, from
Well, it may be wherever you say it, but it most definitely says Washington leaders discuss Trump's threats to send troops to Portland, Oregon.
Washington State. I'm just curious if there's been any effort to kind of forestall this, that kind of step.
Jim, you seem to be looking at Attorney General here, so I'm going to. I was hoping you were looking. I'll give it a shot if you want. I mean,
Go ahead.
I'll just tell you the short answer is no. No, and which is totally unlike my style of leadership. I will generally call anyone, talk to anyone. We are here to help the federal government. We're here to be partners. We need their funding. We need their support. But we do realize that just based on what we consistently see, that we have to anticipate that there's just not going to be.
I guess so, Stewie. Stewie say he sent troops to Oregon for what? Starbucks? Let's go.
Done outreach to the Attorney General or certainly the White House on this. You know, it would be obviously ideal, I think, if we had a circumstance where we had a collaborative relationship with the White House or the Department of Justice. We are, I think, in the unfortunate position of responding to illegal demands from the administration time and time again. You know, in the last couple of weeks, they made a request for 10 years of private voter information. I think well aware that for us to provide that information would be counter to Washington state law. They have made demands that we change our Keep Washington Working Act, which provides for protections for undocumented people in the state, knowing full well that we can't simply change our laws in the way
Carly, keep in mind, everybody must have, all moderators must have memberships to be moderators, Carly.
But we're also dealing with a Department of Justice that is the most politicalized department in history, that is targeting political opponents in a way that is unprecedented. And so I don't necessarily view Pam Bondi or anyone in the Department of Justice at that level as working in good faith with their state partners. That would be an ideal that I think we should hope to get back to. It has existed through parties of both sides and administrations over decades, but it is not the White House or the Department of Justice that we have right now.
I don't see City Attorney Davis in here. Has there been any communication with her on this?
I haven't. Yeah, please.
Deputy Mayor Greg Wong, General Counsel for the Mayor's Office. Yes, there has been. We're working very closely with the City Attorney's Office on all of our legal options and all of City Attorney Davison's team on that, and in conjunction with the Attorney General's Office.
Attorney General and Mayor, I just want to maybe speak to the migrant and the refugee communities. How do you guys, what advice do you have for them as they fear troops just a couple hours away within their communities?
Well, Jim, I want to come back to just one other thought I want to share with you on your question. I'm right back to that. That's not to say that I interpreted your question as people directly in the Trump office. That's not to say I spoke with our federal delegation, for example, Senator Cantwell over the weekend, that we have a federal team that stays in constant contact, making sure that we have still a working relationship with the federal government. I interpret your question's direct relationship with Trump or his cabinet members. Back to this question, we've been working with, meeting with, collaborating with as many community-based organizations such as One America, making sure that they have any tools that they need, and we'll double down on that in the executive order that I'll issue in a few days here. We want to make sure that they have frequently asked questions, legal services, I think you may recall in our budget, we increased the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs budget by 70%, realizing that their caseload has gone up. Again, we've put in legal services dollars that the council now, and again, I want to thank the council members for being here, such that they have legal recourse should they need it. So we're doing everything we can on the ground as well to make sure our immigrant and refugee communities are protected.
I'll just add in a couple things. I mean, Washington state law has remained one of the most aggressive in its protections for undocumented people. It remains one of the most robust.
This mass deportation situation, guys, has caused a lot of chaos and confusion.
Not a damn thing has changed in Washington state law in 8 months, despite the executive orders. And so I think people, one, need to recognize that there are still legal protections that we will robustly enforce to protect people's rights. But I also recognize that, fear is the point. Fear is the point from this White House. That is true for Donald Trump. That is true for Stephen Miller. Every time I watch that man speak, the vitriol that comes from his mouth and his lips, the tension people are feeling is very much intentional. That is exactly what they are trying to create in this city and in this country. And again, to have the President of the United States who leads with that instinct is incredibly saddening for all of us, I think. And so we, as government officials, need to do everything we can to make sure people's rights and laws or freedoms are protected, and also work with these organizations that are dealing directly with people who are living in fear. And not just living in fear, because of something they might be doing, but when they're going to church, when they're going to schools, when they're going to hospitals. Those used to be places that were protected, where people would feel okay. But those policy provisions were stripped out by this White House and by this administrations, specifically knowing and sending the message to undocumented people that they don't have safety in those places where they're going to look for healthcare and for education for their children. And so we need to be as aggressive and as proactive as we can to counter that force of fear that is coming from Washington, D.C. right now.
For the Attorney General, you mentioned the experiences of other states informing your work. Can you explain a little more about how that might be helping you prepare?
No, absolutely. I mean, again, a lot of work has happened in our office this year and a lot preceding it. We have one of the largest and most experienced Attorney General's offices in the country, and we have a really robust team of experts here. And so as the first incident arose in Los Angeles, we were in contact with them to make sure that we could provide assistance if they needed. We wanted to see the way that the president and his administration was claiming authority, and so whatever authority they were asserting, we wanted to make sure that that was matching up with what the law actually says. Knowing what facts they were saying generated the use of troops. Those are all things that we are monitoring and making sure that we're aware of, because we want to prevent any similar circumstance from happening here in Washington. So it's very, very helpful for us to look at other cities. And so, I talk regularly to the Attorney Generals of Illinois, Oregon, California, all of our colleagues across the country to see what experiences that they are facing and to read their legal briefs and help them. And so all of that will help us, I think, if we're ever in the circumstance where we are seeing the same conduct or actions happening here.
Okay, so we're going to take one more question, and hopefully it's for the Attorney General. Okay. Okay.
Can you share a message for Seattle residents, just like calm, you talked about their fear that's happening, calm their fear and anxiety?
Here's the calming message for the residents. Thanks, that's a perfect last question. Here in Seattle, here in Washington State, I'm going to call the Attorney General Nick. I'm going to call our Governor Bob. I'm going to call you, Bob, you, Sarah, you, Amy. We are united here. We are friends. We share the same values here. You cannot tear this family apart. We will communicate with one another. We know the law here. We are strong. We are resilient. Now, here, we should all celebrate the fact that the Mariners are hot. Seahawks are on a roll. The Huskies will bounce back from the Ohio State game. We are a phenomenal state and a city. Here we are united. We will communicate with one another. We will fight in court. We will use our community-based organizations. Our values are.
That's as high as it goes,
we are a
Rose.
welcoming city. There is no need to be here. And we have attorney generals and governors and mayors that do not mince words. We are resilient. I want to share a personal privilege here that over the weekend, I actually introduced one of the most powerfulest fireside chats I've ever seen. And that was between Attorney General Nick Brown and civil rights leader Benjamin Crump. And what he said was, he talked about the resilience of African Americans in the context of a fundraiser. And it was a brilliant conversation. And my takeaway from that is, this is when we exercise our strength to show who we are. We can't be safe here. I don't think you've heard attorney generals talk like Attorney General Brown or mayors talk like this about a president of the United States.
All right, for some reason, they took us straight there. I don't know what happened, you know what I'm saying? But they switched over and took us straight there. I guess this press conference with Trump and Netanyahu is about to begin, guys. But that was the latest update. That was the latest update from the reaction of people in Washington about what's going on in Oregon, guys. So I guess this press conference is about to start now, guys, with Trump and Netanyahu. They switched us right over there. Continue to get those likes up. If you're in the building, ain't hit that like button, click those three dots, hit that thumbs up. It helps out the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, man, as we get ready for this press conference that's about to take place right now. They switched us over here. It wasn't me. The channel did it. They went straight from the lawmakers basically speaking on what's going on in Oregon to this press conference with Trump and Netanyahu. So let's go.
Okay, let's get started. Good morning, everybody.
Guys, this thing was supposed to start over an hour ago. It still hasn't started yet. I don't know what's going on. Appreciate you, Caleb. As soon as they begin, I turn the music off, guys. It's just something to listen to until they start the actual press conference. I don't know what's going on, why it's taking so long. Your guess is as good as mine, but it was supposed to start it over an hour ago. Well, they taking so long, I be done fell asleep. Lord, have mercy, hurry up, Trump guys. What are they doing? Lord, it should have been started by now. This is crazy. Mr. W, hurry up and wait. That's what I feel like right now. Lord, have mercy. This shows how they know respect for the people. This is another manipulation of power tactic. Make them wait on us. I hear you, Rain. Lord, have mercy. It's supposed to start it over an hour ago, guys, and we're still waiting. All right, as we wait, as we wait for this live press conference to begin, let's get a little bit details on about what they probably will be discussing until they start, guys. Let's go here.
21-point peace plan for ending the war in Gaza. Moments ago, I spoke exclusively with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ahead of his pivotal meeting tomorrow at the White House with President Trump. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, thank you for joining the Sunday briefing. I want to start by asking you if you've seen this 21-point peace plan and if you plan to declare support for it at the White House tomorrow.
Well, we're working on it, Jackie. It's not been finalized yet, but we're working with President Trump's team, actually as we speak, and I hope we can make it a go because we want to free our hostages. We want to get rid of Hamas rule and have them disarmed, Gaza demilitarized.
They must be still working on it. That's why it's taking so long for them to basically do the conference.
And a new future set up for Gazans and Israelis alike, and for the whole region.
According to some reports, if Israel and Hamas agree to this plan, the war would immediately end. The IDF will gradually withdraw from the Gaza Strip. All hostages will be returned within 48 hours. And then after that, Israel would free 1,000 Palestinian prisoners and aid will surge immediately. But Hamas members who choose to stay would get amnesty. And in your speech to the UN, you didn't indicate that amnesty is in the cards. Listen to this.
The final remnants of Hamas are holed up in Gaza City. They vow to repeat the atrocities of October 7th again and again and again, no matter how diminished their forces. That is why Israel must finish the job.
Will you agree to amnesty for Hamas?
Well, I think the details of this have to be worked out. But in previous statements, I said that if Hamas leaders, for example, are escorted out of the country, if they finish the war, release all the hostages, we let them out. That is something that I've said in the past, but it has to be worked out. All of that, I think, is part of the plan. I'm not going to preempt it because we're having these discussions exactly right now.
How many Hamas fighters do you estimate are left? Is it more than before the war started?
No, it's considerably less. But as we, as we decimated them, they actually what they did was they stole the food that we were giving to Gazan civilians, hiked up the prices, and then used it to fund the recruiting of replacements. The replacements could be 14, 15-year-olds. That's what they're doing. I mean, they're actually blackmailing Palestinian families to give them their kids in order to fill the ranks that have been decimated by us. But no, it's not the same number at all. And by the way, you have Gazans now fighting Hamas and say, we've had enough of this. We have to have something else. And they're fighting Hamas. They're killing Hamas. Some of them are dying in the process because they've had enough. And I fully understand them.
Some of the reported plan also touches your red lines. In the beginning, a temporary group of Palestinian technocrats supervised by the U.S. would administer Gaza services and fund its redevelopment until the Palestinian Authority has completed its reform program. But just days ago, you indicated you would not accept any future role for the Palestinian Authority. I want to play what you said at the UN.
I hear from the Western leaders. They tell me, the PA promised us it will reform. Yeah, right. Giving the Palestinians a state 1 mile from Jerusalem after October 7th is like giving Al-Qaeda a state 1 mile from New York City after September 11th. This is sheer madness. It's insane, and we won't do it.
Is that still a red line for you?
Yeah, I haven't changed my positions, and I think that the credibility or the likelihood of the things, a reformed Palestinian Authority that changes completely its stripes, that accepts a Jewish state, that teaches its children to embrace coexistence and friendship with the Jewish state rather than living their lives in order to annihilate it and perhaps committing suicide bombs. Strapping suicide bombs in order to get it, and all these other things. Pay for slay, they pay terrorists to murder Jews, and the more Jews they murder, the more they pay. If all of that is turned on its head, there's a tremendous transformation. Well, good luck. Some people will believe it happens. I don't think it's going to happen.
I want to ask also about the point of the plan that calls for Israel not to carry out any future strikes in Qatar.
What's up,
the strikes caused some deep frustration at the White House and with Arab states in the region. None of the Hamas leaders that were targeted were actually killed. Do you still believe that those strikes in Qatar were worth it?
Look, I think that the United States and any self-respecting country doesn't give a pass to terrorists, and of course we weren't attacking Qatar any more than you were attacking Pakistan. When you took out bin Laden, you went after bin Laden, not Pakistan. But these things, again, will be worked out because our goal was that. Our goal was Hamas, not anything beyond it. I think we can work out an understanding on this. In any case, I don't think it's, I think it's common sense. Everybody understands that. But even those who protest against it.
There are some indications, though, that it has jeopardized one of President Trump's legacy achievements, the Abraham Accords. You had the UAE, which normalized relations with your country under President Trump's first term, calling the strikes a grave breach of international law and the UN Charter, an irresponsible escalation that threatens regional and international peace and security. Are you saying that eradicating Hamas is more important than the Abraham Accords?
All right, guys, we got action. Finally. All right, so it's about to begin now.
Thank you very much, everybody. So this is a big, big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization. Things that have been going on for hundreds of years and thousands of years. We're going to, at least we're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close. And I want to thank Bibi for really getting in there and doing a job. We've worked well together, as we have with many other countries, both of us, with many other countries, which is the only way this whole situation gets solved. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. Gaza is one thing, but we're talking about much beyond Gaza. The whole deal, everything getting solved. It's called peace in the Middle East. So today is a historic day for peace, and Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting on many vital issues, including Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, we discussed how to end the war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East. And let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been
money
incredible.
promotes engaging in entertainment.
Every single one of
had
them.
in a while.
This afternoon, after extensive
I ain't gonna buy no
consultation
beer with it.
with our friends and partners throughout the region, I'm formally releasing our principles for peace, which people have really liked, I must say. And these are done not just routinely done, these are done with total consideration and working with the nations that we're talking about.
Hey, Ms.
All
D.
these nations have made contributions to those suggestions. I want to thank the leaders of many Arab and Muslim nations for their tremendous support in developing the proposal, along with many of our allies in Europe. Europe has been very much involved, and as I was called by many of the European leaders, most of them saying, is this true? Are you really doing peace in the Middle East? This is the most incredible thing we've heard. Some think it's the biggest thing they've ever heard. They called just to find out, was it just a rumor or is it actually done? And then they said, have you spoken to the Arab leaders? Have you spoken to all of the other leaders that we have to get? A lot of people involved in this one. I also want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for agreeing to the plan and for trusting that if we work together, we can bring an end to...
Gino, you a member of this channel to be telling me what to do? You can't tell me nothing. I almost blocked you.
The death and destruction that we've seen for so many years, decades, even centuries, and begin a new chapter of security, peace, and prosperity for the entire region. And I want to just say that my meetings and dialogue that we had with so many countries, Saudi Arabia as an example, the king is a phenomenal person. The Emir of Qatar, he's incredible people. UAE, and that's MBZ and ABZ. We're totally involved. These are the people that we've been dealing with and who've been actually very much involved in this negotiation, giving us ideas, things they can live with, things they can't live with. Pretty complex. I mean, after 2,000, 3,000 years, whatever it is, I guess it's got to be a little complex, or it would have been done a long time ago. The King of Jordan was with us, as you know, in the United Nations. The President of Turkey, President Erdogan, is a friend of mine, a strong man, but a good man. President of Indonesia, somebody who's an amazing leader.
Thank you for that gift.
Prabowo, he is an amazing leader and respected by everybody. He was in the room with us. We were together with most of these people that I'm mentioning. Others were by phone or the next day. The Prime Minister and the Field Marshal of Pakistan, they were with us right from the beginning. Incredible. In fact, they just put out a statement that they fully believe in this pact. It just came out just as I was walking around. They said, sir, you have a big notice from the Prime Minister of Pakistan and from the Field Marshal that they back this 100%. President El-Sisi of Egypt, who's terrific. And these are people I've gotten to know over the years. I mean, I would say it started around 2015 and then went into 2016 when the presidency officially began. But I've known him actually for a long time, and they're in many cases really great men. I can't say in all cases, but I will tell you in many cases they're great men and some great women too. They tend to be mostly men, however, I will say that. But If accepted by Hamas, this proposal calls for the release of all remaining hostages immediately, but in no case more than 72 hours. So the hostages are coming back, and I hate even saying this from the standpoint, doesn't sound right, but it is so important to the parents. The bodies of the young men, I believe in almost all cases, the young men are coming back immediately. I met with parents. The parents felt as strongly about getting the body of their dead boy back as they did as though the boy were alive and well. It's so important to them. And it means the immediate end to the war itself, not just Gaza. It's the war itself. Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed, and in writing in many cases, but I actually would take their word for it. The people I mentioned, I'd take their word for it, to demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. Do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas. And I'm hearing that Hamas wants to get this done too, and that's a good thing. And destroy all terror infrastructure, including the tunnels, weapons, production facilities. They have a lot of production facilities that we're destroying. They'll also help train local police forces in the areas that we're discussing right now, in particular in and around Gaza, working with the new transitional authority in Gaza. All parties will agree on a timeline for Israeli forces to withdraw in phases. They'll be withdrawing in phases. No more shooting, hopefully. As progress is made toward achieving these goals, Arab and Muslim nations need to be allowed the chance to fulfill these commitments of dealing with Hamas. They have to deal with them because they were the one group that we have not dealt with. I haven't dealt with them. But the Arab countries are going to, and Muslim countries are going to be dealing with Hamas, and I believe they've already been there. I think they probably have an understanding, and they haven't maybe mentioned that, but I would imagine they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone as far as they've gone. If they're unable to do so, then Israel would have the absolute right, and actually our full backing, the U.S. full backing. Marco's here, and a lot of our leaders are here, our great Vice President, Susie Wiles, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. They've been so involved in this process. I don't think anybody else could have done it or even come close. But it's we're right there. We're right there. First time in thousands of years, I think you can probably say, if you really look into it, if you study back, if you're a scholar, you would say thousands of years. Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas. But I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do. Everyone understands that the ultimate result must be the elimination of any danger posed in the region, and that danger is caused by Hamas. The tyranny of terror has to end, and this is, again, something that we're looking for. This is eternity. This is for forever. To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which will be headed, not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it, and we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders, and we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair, good man, very good man, and some others, and they'll be named over the next few days, and it'll be quite the board. Working, everybody wants to be on it now. I don't know if that had anything to do. They named me and everybody else wanted to be on it. I guess they figure, well, he's a soft touch. He'll be easy to work in with the World Bank and others. It'll be responsible for recruiting and training a new government made up of Palestinians along with highly qualified experts from all around the world. Hamas and other terrorist role in the board, but they'll play no role in the governance of Gaza at all. Directly, as you know, thousands of Hamas leaders have been killed and soldiers have been killed. And we can never forget October 7th, but thousands have paid the price for that. And now it's time to get back to trying to build something that's really great and very important. In our meeting today, Prime Minister Netanyahu was very clear about his opposition to a Palestinian state, and he continuously mentions October 7th, and I understand that. Most people do. And I understand and respect his position on many things, but what he's doing today is so good for Israel. I noticed that they have large crowds gathering in Israel all the time, and they have my name up. They like me for whatever reason, Bibi, I don't know, but they do like me. But they say two things. Please get the hostages back, and please end the war. They've had it. It's had it. So I think it's a very popular thing you do, because he's a warrior. He doesn't know about getting back to a normal way of life, but he is a warrior, and Israel's lucky to have him. But now the people want to get back to peace. They want to get back to normalization in a true sense. Several countries have foolishly recognized the Palestinian state. As you know, some of our European friends, allies, good people, but they're really, I think, doing that because they're very tired of what's going on for so many decades. They've been presidents and prime ministers for years, and during this time, having to do with the Middle East, all they're doing is talking about the same thing over and over. They want to see it get back. And nobody wants that more than me, or I believe Bibi too. But the people of Israel want it. They really want it. They want the hostages back. That includes the probably 32 bodies that we're talking about, 20 people that are living, 32 or so people that are dead, and they want to have peace. So let us not forget how we got here. Hamas was elected by the Palestinian people. Israel withdrew from Gaza thinking they would live in peace. Remember that a long time ago? They withdrew. They said, you take it. This is our contribution to peace. But that didn't work out. That didn't work out. It was the opposite of peace. They pulled away. They let them have it. And I never forgot that, because I said, that doesn't sound like a good deal to me. As a real estate person, I mean, they gave up the ocean, right? Ron, they gave up the ocean. They said, who would do this deal? And it still didn't work out. They were very generous, actually. And they gave up the most magnificent piece of land in many ways in the Middle East. And they said, all we want to do now is have peace. And that request was not honored. Instead of building a better life for the Palestinians, Hamas diverted resources to build over 400 miles of tunnels and terror infrastructure, rocket production facilities, and hid their military command posts and launch sites in hospitals, schools, and mosques. So if you went after them, you'd be after them, and you wouldn't even realize you ended up knocking out a hospital or school or a mosque. A terrible thing, terrible way to have to fight. No fight is good, but that's a real bad one. So there are many Palestinians who wish to live in peace. Many. I've seen so many of them. and they have support. And I challenge the Palestinians to take responsibility for their destiny, because that's what we're giving them. We're giving them responsibility for their destiny, fully condemn and prohibit terrorism and earn their way to a brighter future. They don't want the life that they've had. They've had a rough life with Hamas. If the Palestinian Authority does not complete the reforms that I laid out in my vision for peace in 2020, they'll have only themselves to blame. We're giving them an amazing footprint, and they have amazing support from the leaders of the Arab world and the Muslim world, the great leaders. These are great leaders. These are unbelievable leaders that have built great countries and very wealthy countries. What the future holds for the Palestinians, no one really knows, but the plan that we put forward today is focused on ending the war immediately, getting all of our hostages back, getting everything back. Hard to believe when you even say it, and creating conditions for durable Israeli security and Palestinian success. Israeli security is going to be involved. We're going to help you. We'll be there with you in terms of helping with security. We want to make sure it works. We just want to make sure it works. There shouldn't be a shot fired. Now, there will be, I guess, because that's the way it seems to be, but there shouldn't have to be within a few days. There shouldn't have to be a shot fired. Maybe for eternity. Wouldn't that be nice? I hope it's true. I can tell you the leadership of that region feels that there's a good chance of it being true. So this will lead to this agreement that we're talking about will lead to a sustainable long-term peace. No president in history has been a greater friend of the state of Israel than I have, in addition to negotiating the Abraham Accords. I like to say it that way because the real people, that's what they call Abraham. I would say Abraham, but it's so much nicer when you say Abraham. So much more elegant. But the Abraham Accords, they're amazing. Jared, you did that along with your group of geniuses, and nobody thought that could be done. We have 4 countries, and Sleepy Joe Biden didn't do a thing. He didn't even know what the hell they were. He should have had them fold up. But I think this will also lead to packing them. And who knows, maybe even Iran can get in there. I hope, we hope we're going to be able to get along with Iran. I think they're going to be open to it. I really believe that. But they could be a member. I long ago said, I'll bet you at some point Iran will be a member of the Accords. And little did I realize it was going to take this turn. That was some turn we did with the B-2s. But I think they might very well be there because it's a great thing for them economically. I recognize the eternal capital of Israel. I opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. That was something that everyone said would never be done, could never be done. Virtually every president for many, many years, for decades, would campaign on making Jerusalem the capital of Israel. They campaigned on it over and over. Is that right, Steve? Is that right? Everyone, and when they got to it, and I understand why now, because it was so. When I got to office, I campaigned on it too. I said, we're going to make it. And then I'd get calls from the leaders of various countries saying, please don't do it. Please don't do it. It'll end the whole world. Please don't do it. And finally, I just didn't say anything, and I did it. People were calling me before I did it because they heard I was going to do it. And leaders of countries were calling me. And I think it was on a Thursday that I did it. And they'd call me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3-4 times a day, and I said, tell them I'll call them back on Friday. And I announced it on Thursday, and I called them back, the biggest people in the world, and they said, you've done it. I said, done what? You've made the capital of Israel, Jerusalem, and we wanted to talk yet. I wish you called me a little sooner. Maybe I could have done something about it. So that was a lot easier than getting into an argument, because I knew what they were calling about. And you know what? It turned out to be amazing. Everybody thought it was going to lead to the end of the world, right? The end of the world, Ron, that's what they said. It didn't lead to anything. It just led to something that I promised, and something that was very, very popular for Jewish people and a lot of other people, too. I recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, and I cut taxpayer funding to the corrupt United Nations Relief and Works Agency. United Nations was interesting because, as you know, a few days ago they introduced me. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, I'm looking at my teleprompter and the thing was dead, stone cold, dead. The thing's up here. I have a long, beautiful speech to make. I'm back 30 feet back, and I'm saying, they're introducing me. There's nothing on my teleprompter. So, but I made a speech. I actually got good marks. You think Biden could have done that? I don't think so. I don't think he could have done that. I don't think too many people could have done it. But actually, it was actually more of a speech from my heart, if you want to know the truth. I think it was maybe better in certain ways because it was from the heart. It has to be from the heart. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. But I cut taxpayer funding for that very corrupt United Nations Relief and Works Agency, and nobody thought that would be done, and withdrew from the horrible Iran nuclear deal that was imposed upon Israel by Barack Hussein Obama and Biden. And I don't think Biden knew anything about it, though. I don't think he knows anything about it now, actually, if you ask him. He'd say, what is that? And we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity, making it impossible for them to have a nuclear weapon, which they would have had probably in about 2 months from that. But I've never asked Israel to compromise its security, but we had big, strong talk. Nobody's been better to Israel. No president's been better to Israel than Donald Trump. But we had a long, strong talk, Bibi and I, and he understands it's time. It's time. History has shown, and the people of Israel want it. And the people of the Middle East want it. The people of enemies of Israel want it, but they don't have really too many enemies right now. And you know what? Many countries have gained great respect for Israel, for the way they fight, for the job they do, including me. I had respect anyway, but I gained respect. History has shown us that those who have relations with Israel have thrived, while those who have devoted resources and attention toward the destruction and even annihilation of Israel have languished. They haven't done well. Israel is not going anywhere. They're going to coexist with other people and countries in the region, from Syria to Lebanon to Saudi Arabia. The promise of a new Middle East is so clearly within our reach. This is the closest we've ever come to real peace, not fake peace, not political fool's peace. If we can get this difficult problem solved, the opportunities for all within that vast region of this world, it's a vast region, it's unlimited. The Abraham Accords show that all countries are better off when they communicate and work together and embrace new opportunities. I hope Jared and Steve and Susie and Marco and JD, we have great people. I hope you guys are going to work very hard to get these other countries in, because now they have no excuse. There's no longer an excuse. They were somewhere hesitant. And I tell you, the 4 countries that went in, I give them tremendous credit, and it's worked out incredibly well for them. In the same spirit, I'm pleased to report that earlier today, we took another important step toward greater understanding in the region. A short time ago, we had a historic phone call in the Oval Office with Prime Minister Tani, who's really a great person. So we had a great talk, and I was on the phone, and Bibi was talking. Prime Minister Al Thani was of Qatar. They really had a heart-to-heart conversation. It was a great conversation, I thought. It was productive. It was everything that you need to have something turn out to be successful. And I want to thank Bibi, and I want to thank the Prime Minister. It was fantastic. We agreed to launch a formal trilateral mechanism between Israel, Qatar, and the United States to begin a dialogue to enhance mutual security, correct misperceptions, and avoid future misgivings. And I want to thank Qatar, its leadership, and the Emir. He's a fantastic person. I think, I'm going to be his public relations man because I know him differently than a lot of people know him. But he wants peace. He wants to see peace. And his people, and they really acknowledge the critical role that they played as mediator And again, we're not quite finished. We have to get Hamas, but I think they're going to be able to do this. So now it's time for Hamas to accept the terms of the plan that we've put forward today. And again, this is a different Hamas than we were dealing with because I guess over 20,000 have been killed. Their leadership has been killed 3 times over. So you're really dealing with different people than we've been dealing with over the last 4 years, 5 years. Everyone has done their part and come to the table in good faith. Our Arab and Muslim partners are fully prepared to step up and fulfill their commitments for the benefit of the people of Gaza and the entire region. They're willing to step up and do a lot. They really are. There are a lot of good people involved. Everyone wants to see, everybody who wants to see an end to the violence and destruction should be united in calling for Hamas to accept the extremely fair proposal so that we can end the war and get us back our hostages right now and have everlasting peace. And I look forward to having relationships with everyone. As the chairman of the board, I'll be involved and we'll have meetings with some very smart people that'll be working over there to make sure that we haven't just been wasting time with an agreement that doesn't get done. The task of building peace will not be easy. There's some of the hardest problems in the world to solve, and that's why it's been going on for so many centuries. But too many lives are at stake not to try, and this is more than a try. I mean, I think this is something that gets done when you have virtually every country, and these are powerful countries that have a lot of money, and the money can make things happen. A lot of countries try, and they don't have any money. These are very rich countries that can make things happen. So together we'll forge a much safer and more hopeful future for everybody, including Israel. And I want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for his partnership. And I want to thank all of the leaders, the kings and the emirs and the presidents and prime ministers, people I mentioned. And they've been absolutely fantastic to work with. And it's just happened very quickly. It's happened from a couple of weeks before I had a couple of meetings, but a couple of weeks before we went to the United Nations, and we had some incredible meetings. It all came to place. It all took place, and everybody wanted to be a part of it. I don't have anybody that's saying we don't want anything to do with it. It's just the opposite. And I'll tell you, a couple of years ago, a year ago, I don't think we would have had this kind of participation, Mr. VP, right? I don't think we would have had. It's been amazing. The participation was 100%. Everybody wants to be a part of it. And everybody, those very strong countries, everybody wants it to work. So, Bibi, congratulations on this. I think this will be your crowning achievement, frankly. If this all works out, we think it will. It's going to be your crowning achievement. And I want to thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. President, first I want to thank you for graciously hosting me once again in the White House. And second, I want to thank you for your friendship and for your leadership. From Jerusalem to Tehran, from the Golan Heights to Gaza, you've proven time and again what I've said many times. You are the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And Mr. President, you and I both know it's not even close. While you focus at home on making America great again, your leadership abroad is changing the world for the better, ending wars and advancing peace. I believe that today we're taking a critical step towards both ending the war in Gaza and setting the stage for dramatically advancing peace in the Middle East. And I think beyond the Middle East, in very important Muslim countries. I support your plan to end the war in Gaza, which achieves our war aims. It will bring back to Israel all our hostages, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities, end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel. We would not have achieved this turning point without the courage and sacrifice of our incredibly brave soldiers. They fight like lions to defend the people of Israel, and they serve on the front line in the war between civilization and barbarism. Mr. President, when our two countries stand shoulder to shoulder, we achieve the impossible. Just a few months ago, in Operation Rising Lion and Operation Midnight Hammer, we struck a decisive blow against Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile program. Your bold decision to send those B-2s made the region safer and the world safer. Now, under your leadership, we're taking the next step to win the war and expand the peace. Your plan is consistent with the 5 principles my government set for the end of the war and the day after Hamas. Everybody asks, what is your plan for the day after Hamas? Here's our plan. Passed it in the cabinet. All our hostages, both those who are alive and those who died, all of them will return home immediately. Hamas will be disarmed. Gaza will be demilitarized. Israel will retain security responsibility, including a security perimeter for the foreseeable future. And lastly, Gaza will have a peaceful civilian administration that is run neither by Hamas nor by the Palestinian Authority. If Hamas agrees to your plan, Mr. President, the first step will be a modest withdrawal, followed by the release of all our hostages within 72 hours. The next step will be the establishment of an international body charged with fully disarming Hamas and demilitarizing Gaza. I appreciate your willingness to lead the body, Mr. President. I really appreciate it because you have a lot of things to do, and this is important. And it reflects the confidence that this will give everyone, that things will be followed up on all the commitments made. The fact that you're taking this on, I think, helps a lot to make sure that everything flows in the direction that we want. Now, if this international body succeeds, we will have permanently ended the war. Israel will conduct further withdrawals linked to the extent of disarmament and demilitarization, but will remain in the security perimeter for the foreseeable future. I think we should understand that we're giving everybody a chance to have this done peacefully, something that will achieve all our war objectives without any further bloodshed. But if Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, or if they supposedly accept it and then basically do everything to counter it, then Israel will finish the job by itself. This can be done the easy way, but it will be done. We prefer the easy way, but it has to be done. All these goals must be achieved because we didn't fight this horrible fight, sacrifice the finest of our young men to have Hamas stay in Gaza and threaten us again and again and again with these horrific massacres. Mr. President, I was encouraged by your clear statement at the UN against the recognition of a Palestinian state. That would be an outcome that, after October 7th, would reward terrorists, undermine security, and endanger Israel's very existence. As for the Palestinian Authority, I appreciate your firm position that the PA can have no role whatsoever in Gaza without undergoing a radical and genuine transformation. In your 2020 peace plan, which you mentioned just now, you made clear what that transformation requires. It's not lip service. It's not checking a box. It's a fundamental, genuine, and enduring transformation. And that means ending pay to slay, changing the poisonous textbooks that teach hatred to Jews, to Palestinian children, stopping incitement in the media, ending lawfare against Israel at the ICC, the ICJ, recognizing the Jewish state, and many, many other reforms. It won't come as a surprise to you that the vast majority of Israelis have no faith that the PA Leopard will change its spots. But rather than wait for this miraculous transformation, your plan provides a practical and realistic path forward for Gaza in the coming years, in which Gaza will be administered neither by Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority, but by those committed to a genuine peace with Israel. I think this can be not only a new beginning for Gaza, I think it can be a new beginning for the entire region. Under your leadership, we can re-energize, well, I've got to contribute my own, we can re-energize the Abraham Accords. That's what it's called in the original Hebrew. Abraham. Abraham is fine. Abraham, however you want to call it. Under your leadership, Mr. President, we can re-energize the Abraham Accords that we forged 5 years ago. We can expand them to many more Arab and Muslim nations that choose moderation over extremism. I think there's an opportunity here. It's not going to be easy. It's tough going. But I think if we succeed, you're absolutely right. We're going to open possibilities that nobody even dreamed of. But I think we dream of them. As you've told me, Mr. President, and you've told the world many, many times, you said, remember October 7th. Remember October 7th. And we do. We will never forget the horrors of October 7th, and we will do whatever is necessary to make sure they don't happen again. Since October 7th, Israel's enemies have learned a hard truth. Those who attack us pay a heavy price, but those who partner with us advance progress and security for their peoples. President Trump just said it. It's also in the Bible. It says, those who will bless you will be blessed, and those who will curse you will be cursed. And that's actually what is happening. We want the blessings. I think we've done a lot in the past 2 years to end the curse. We're not finished, but we've done a lot. And we've done a lot together to end the curse. I want to thank your entire team for their efforts to get to this point. I especially want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for their indefatigable work to bring Israel and Arab states in the region closer together. I am deeply grateful to both of them for their work. We had a phone call today just to make it clear. I said to the Prime Minister of Qatar, Israel was targeting terrorists, wasn't targeting Qatar. And of course, we regretted the loss of the Qatari citizen, wasn't our target. And I very much appreciate President Trump's proposal to have a trilateral body, the United States, Israel, and Qatar, to work out respective grievances. There are quite a few. But if we can try to mitigate them or put it on a different footing, I think that'll be good for everyone. Above all the people, the fine team, and many helpers who've done this, I want to thank you, Mr. President. History has already shown that under your leadership, Israel and America can change the face of the Middle East. And today I'm hopeful that your plan to end the war in Gaza will do so again and do so soon. It will free our hostages, end Hamas's tyranny in Gaza, and enable a more secure and prosperous future for the peoples of our region. Thank you, Mr. President. May God bless America. May God bless Israel. May God bless the indispensable alliance between our countries. And may I add in Hebrew, may we all be inscribed in the book of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, baby. So I think while we wait for these documents to be signed and get everybody in line, I think it maybe is not really appropriate to take questions. I'm meeting with, as you know, a couple of Democrats in a little while about the country, about keeping our country open, they're going to have to do some things because their ideas are not very good ones. They're very bad for our country. So we'll see how that works out. But this is something that was really historic today. This was something that was amazing. I think, Bibi, I mean, depending on you, I think while we're waiting for signatures and waiting for approvals from a lot of different countries that are involved in this, we probably shouldn't take questions, or would you like to take a question or two from perhaps a friendly Israeli reporter, if there's such a thing?
That's a very, very tough proposition. But I would think, Mr. President, that I would go by your instinct that this is, we'll have enough time for questions. Let's settle the issue first, I think.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
But there y'all have it, guys. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they'll work it out. Maybe they won't. It took long enough for us to get to this point, though. Golly, that was a long wait, guys. Extremely long wait. I'm like, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Is we ever gonna get to the press conference, y'all? Hold on, let me take this off. Hold up. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? So there y'all have it, man. Whether you like Trump, don't like Trump, he seems like he's trying to make things happen. It with Israel, basically Gaza, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they straight. That must have been what was taking so long. They were still trying to negotiate on the terms of whatever they had going on, man. It is just crazy. Somebody said 2 dumb presidents, allegedly. Trump, the real G, God bless America. John says, fine facts. All these shooters, as of late, were radicalized online. Oh, wow. Yeah. So we got a lot of mixed emotions down there about it all, man. That's crazy. I didn't want to talk too much over the audio. I wanted us to get a full understanding of what was going on, man. So whether you agree, disagree, it most definitely happened. We most definitely talked about the situation that happened in Oregon. That was something that I didn't even put in my title. We talk about the situation that happened in Michigan with the mass shooting situation with the crazy man driving into the Mormon church and unaliving people and burning the church down. You know, it's a lot going on, man. It's always a lot going on in the news. I hope y'all enjoyed the show, man. We've been in here about 3 hours. If you haven't hit that like button, man, please double tap that screen. That's how you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Subscribe. We on the road to 50K, man. Y'all already know how it goes. Somebody says blessings from Puerto Rico, man. Shout out to Puerto Rico in the building, man. Make sure you subscribe, JC. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Shout out to all my new members, my old members. Shout out to the whole entire Sidewalk squad, man. Y'all know how we do. I most definitely appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to my moderators. Thank y'all for keeping the show running smooth. I don't know what I'd do without y'all, man. So y'all know it's time for me to make my grand exit. That's all I have for y'all today. I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. And I will be back with more of the latest and breaking news, man, right here on Everything News. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. And yeah, Sidewalk Gang, checking out. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Y'all be good. Maria says, go get educated and then maybe you can figure out that God is whoa, wow. That's your personal opinion, Marie. All right, man. Yeah, I don't I don't even want to get into that. Yeah, y'all two argue about that. I'm not gonna get into the religious thing, man. I believe in God. But anyway, yeah, man, I'm gone, man. I'll holler at y'all later on, man. Make sure y'all tap back in. Most definitely turn your notification bells to all so you don't miss nothing, man. I'll catch y'all later. Much love.